is the Blitz. Welcome aboard. You're on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM. I recommend it if you can. Go to ESPNSA.com. You can watch us live. Our YouTube channel's right there. While you're hanging out right there, get all signed up for the variety of ways you can win Buku Dolores. Either $500 for couples, or our Cash for Couples brought to you by New Breaks. We've also got big money to be won on the big game score. You got a $50 gift card that can be won from Tri-County Meat Market just for perusing ESPNSA.com. He's Jason Minix. I'm Rob Thompson.
Win tab. Yeah.
Go there, man. It's free stuff, man. Don't cost nothing. Got a good big game coverage kind of day as D's Tractor's big game coverage continues. Always brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds and Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds. Doug Kazarian, he of ESPN Gambling fame, will join us here in about 30 minutes. Old friend of the show. We'll talk lines and just kind of catch up with the modern landscape of gambling as the Super Bowl comes at us. He's just a great interview, even if you're not a gambling type. He does what he does because he puts it in terms that guys like me can understand.
Well, and again, he's got, and you think about the gambling aspect in the sports world in general. I mean, you go from Bad Beats on Scott Van Pelt that used to be, a weekly segment towards the end of the show to now a staple of that show, to Doug Kezerian goes from being on certain times and a podcast to every day on ESPN2 with the Daily Wager. I mean, it's a big part of it. And this week, man, he's like a kid in a candy store with all the different prop bets you can look at.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to catch up with him. If you're not the gambling type, don't get scared away. And if you are, good insight to always be had by Doug Kazarian. Keyshawn Johnson, he of the KJZ fame and Give Me the Damn Ball and all the football stuff will join us. This is the second time in the last couple of months, I believe, that Keyshawn's joined us. Just another one of the many big stars we continue to give you. I'll be honest with you. I don't know what to expect from Keyshawn this week. I'll be honest. Last time we talked to him, I wasn't impressed. I didn't think he did a very good job.
When we talked to him last, he was moving from L.A. to New York in the middle of the pandemic, bitching about that, starting a new job where he's got to get up at dark 30, and he's doing what we call the car wash. And then I don't know at what point in the car wash we got him, but you're right. I mean, for a talk show host to give one-word answers, dude, you got to do better than that. So we'll see what we get from KJZ. And you realize guy did a morning show, and, he'll be on with us, around 5, so that's 6 Eastern. I hope the dude has a nap at some point, had a nap but there's a blizzard up there. Do you think, like Ross Tucker, he's out shoveling the walk? Do you think Keyshawn shovels his own driveway?
I would think not. But you never know. I don't know whether I want to ask him that or not because I don't know what the response would be. But yeah, Keyshawn will join us for sure. John Pollard's going to join us at 6:30. He's from Zebra Technologies. They're the kind of the backbone behind a lot of pro football stats and pro football focus, and really great insight. It's that, he's part of that whole analytics movement. I think we can probably blame it on him.
Yes, a big part of it. When you see that so-and-so was 17.9 yards wide open, or he ran 22 miles. And I asked him when we were setting this up, I was like, all right, yeah, we'll do Super Bowl stuff. But I asked him to dig deep into Deshaun Watson and what he really means to the Houston Texans offense from the analytics standpoint. So hopefully he'll have that at his fingertips as well. But always interesting. Here's the pro tip. We're going to talk to Doug coming up here about 4:30. But don't put your wagers in. You'll hear what Doug has to say, but then you hear what some of the statistics have to say, because that should help you when you're placing those bets, especially some of the different prop bets that are going to be available to you.
Kevin Mawae, the former NFL great, I remember him of the Titans, will join us. We always look forward to having the former pros and their look at the Super Bowl from in the trenches, and Mawae is going to be spectacular. He's going to join us for Hall of Famer for sure. Sierra Delta and all the things that they do is going to be bringing us Kevin Mawae. We'll speak with BJ Gammon and Kevin Mawae at 5:30. So my goodness, it is a big game kind of a day. Always brought to you by Dietz Tractor. We'll get into it for sure. And you brought up something that I think is very interesting. This is Tuesday of a Super Bowl week.
Mm-hmm.
The Radio Row is in effect. We saw some pictures that, it's set up. I don't know how many people are actually there, but it's a very strange feeling. But it was today, Jason, that it hit me. And I'm not a poor me kind of a guy. But today really was like, my goodness, this Super Bowl is happening. And I feel like the train kind of left the station. I had to wave goodbye. And, I'll see you when you get back here on Sunday. But all the fun's being had on the train, and I can't get on. You know what I mean? We're doing our best to feel like it's the week. I don't know what's going to change it for me.
Well,
is it going to be game day?
Any better? Because I just literally looked at my memories to see what is there, and if you look, if you're watching on our video screen, 3 years ago today, we were hanging out with some quarterback named Patrick Mahomes on Radio Row.
That was the last time he was free this time of year.
Yeah, exactly. Doesn't it feel that way?
He's gotten a little busier late January than he had been in the past. Yeah, it's one of those things. And when we meet guys like the likes that Lee Steinberg brings by, and when we first met Pat Mahomes, he was the newest quarterback prospect in the long list of Lee Steinberg signees. Most have hit, some others haven't. He's had others that have come through that we've talked with, that high expectations that weren't matched. And, I think we looked at Patrick Mahomes as certainly a legitimate possibility to get a place in the NFL, but we didn't know. I mean, he was coming out of Tech, and at that point, those kind of quarterbacks were still viewed as incomplete, that they didn't have enough skills in their pocket. They were too used to that run and gun kind of fly it over the top offense. And
see,
the world has changed a lot in the last 3 years.
Well, we got to bring some memory to the memory. I mean, see, it was 4 years ago we met him in Houston.
Oh, I was thinking of that first meeting. Yeah.
Yeah. See, because that's popping up on my Facebook feed as well as you continue to go through the years. What sucks? See, this picture was taken. We were with Patrick Mahomes in Minnesota with Roger Staubach, which is very cool. Different times, but I can tell by what we're wearing. It was that same day, and it makes the cluster. So it was that day we were talking to him with an idea that he might end up getting the starting job if Alex Smith got traded, and it was later that day that Alex Smith got traded. So he was not yet the starting quarterback. He had spent a year, interning, and but we kind of knew from an agent that some news could change, but we couldn't talk about it with him. He was giving us all the politically correct answers of how much he learned taking that year behind one Alex Smith.
My memory was the first time we met him, he hit the road there in Houston. He was hurt. He had a cast on his wrist.
Yep.
And he was a mid-level pick, a guy with a golden arm and all of that. And then seeing him after he'd spent some time with Kansas City, how much thicker he had gotten, how much bigger he seemed. He wasn't a starter, like you said, but 1 year in that system, it certainly changed him. Not only physically, he looked like a different guy, but mentally in the way he talked. He went from a scared draft pick coming out of Tech to a guy who pretty much had an idea that he was about to take over the franchise. Now, no one knew what was coming, but certainly he didn't lack for confidence and grew into the job. He was given an opportunity that not too many quarterbacks get.
No, definitely not. And again, I mean, you talk about the woe is me, sucks that we're not there kind of things. So tonight would be the media party down there. See, the Super Bowl week. So typically, and again, work. And not saying this for anybody to feel bad, but you work all day. And of course you're in the East. So our show ends at 8 o'clock when we're in Florida. Then you have to go to these incredible parties till 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. And then you're on Radio Row 8:30 the next day. I mean, you lack a lot of sleep this week. And, last night would have been the typical opening night and media day and all that kind of stuff. Then today would be the media party. Tomorrow would be kind of your rest day. Then Thursday and Friday, it is just a bleep show. And it's just so much fun.
And it's a rolling kind of momentum. Day one yesterday, the row is fairly scarce. There's a few guys floating around. By day two, there's a few more. And today's the eager anticipation. The media day was done. Now the players kind of basically go into seclusion. They go back to work, and the stars arrive. And that's where it would be going in Tampa Bay. And you figure for media night, I remember the last time the Super Bowl was there. That's been about 10 years. Wasn't it about 09? I think it was 10.
Yeah, because 10 years ago was Dallas. So I think right before that it was in
11
Tampa last time. Yeah.
It was the Steelers-Cardinals game, the Roethlisberger win that year. And that year, the media party was down in Gasparilla. Is that what it's called? Or whatever that area is where all the pirate bars were?
Yeah. That you go over that little bridge, and then it's just like a Bourbon Street area.
Yes.
Tampa. Yeah.
Missed that place, but we're going to do as best we can as we head forward all week long. Dean's Tractor brings you a big game coverage. We're awfully proud of what we're bringing you today. Doug Kazarian is just about 15 minutes away, but when we come back, we got to address the ugly truth. The Spurs have looked horrible for 2 consecutive games. Is it the team they were playing? Are the Grizzlies that much better? Or has Derek White sent this team off kilter? It just didn't feel right. The Spurs go down easily, quite frankly, to the Memphis Grizzlies. Let's look at what happened. Very quickly followed by Doug Kazarian. Spurs talk coming your direction here on the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com.
You know, nobody ever plans on getting arrested, but it does happen to a lot of people every day for all kinds of reasons. Whether it's you, a family member, a friend of yours, you get arrested, you want to get out of jail fast. You know, the best way to do that is by calling my good friend Albert and his great staff at AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121, or go to the website, mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else to get out of jail. A lot of reasons for that. And you don't want to be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you a PR bond, make sure you truly understand what all those conditions are before accepting it. Your best option, AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans available, offer a free shuttle service. Of course, they are discreet and confidential and open 24/7 with offices all over San Antonio and Texas. Services nationwide, up in Dallas, down in Corpus, in the Valley, anywhere in between. You get arrested, AA Best Bail Bonds, license number 149. The phone number, 210-225-2121, 225-2121, or online at mybestbailbonds.com.
Dean's Tractor presents ESPN San Antonio's Big Game Coverage, brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds and Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds. Coverage, guests, and insight all week on the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio and 94.5 FM.
Not all pizza places are the same. Mellow Mushroom originated hand-tossed, stone-baked classic Southern pizza. Not in the mood for pizza? Order a calzone, hoagie, sandwich, burger, or a mellow salad and see how care goes into every item on the menu. Take your pick from 24 draft beers and or handcrafted cocktails. And many of the pizzas can be made gluten-free or vegan. Mellow Mushroom is at 1604 in Stone Oak Parkway. Hang with friends, watch the game, and mellow out at Mellow Mushroom.
Let's be real. Mopping is a hassle. You have to fill the bucket, pushing a wet, heavy mop around, then cleaning the mop when you're done so it doesn't grow bacteria. A hassle on top of a hassle. Try Swiffer Wet Jet. With Swiffer Wet Jet, you start with a fresh pad and cleaning solution every time. And when you're done, you just toss the pad. Swiffer Wet Jet, the faster, easier, cleaner way to clean your floors.
Guys, stop putting your love life on hold. U.S. Pharmacy has some exciting news. If you've been wanting to try Viagra or Cialis, now's the perfect time. Call today and receive 90 little blue or little yellow pills for only $119 with free shipping. Why order some low-dose sildenafil from one of those subscription services when we can give you what you want now? Call 800-711-6818 and we'll rush your order discreetly packaged to your door. 800-711-6818.
Take your romance game to a whole new level this Valentine's with Diamonds Direct's most popular offer ever. 5 years, 0 interest financing on any purchase happening right now. You know jewelry is the perfect gift to celebrate your love. And with this incredible offer, you can afford to go big. Like a $6,000 diamond tennis bracelet, just $100 a month. Or a $3,000 pair of diamond earrings, just $50 a month. Diamonds Direct has teamed up with the world's top jewelry designers for an expanded selection of Valentine's surprises for any budget. Romantic gifts starting as low as $400. Rings, earrings, pendants, bands, colored gemstones. The guaranteed largest selection, highest quality, and always the best value. Whether you shop in store or online at diamondsdirect.com. Make this the most most memorable Valentine's ever with 5 years, 0 interest financing on any purchase, including engagement rings. Now through Valentine's Day. Celebrate your love at Diamonds Direct.
At the shops at La Cantera.
Hindsight is 2020, and 2020 was a brutal year that for most of it felt out of control. But you know how you can be in control? You can be in control of your job, your career. Yes. In 2020, my computer career helped more people start IT careers than ever. Don't look back with 2020 hindsight next year and see yourself in that 2020 job. Take control. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
Good morning, Province! Good morning, Drill Sergeant! I mean, seriously, what a pleasant morning. The sun is shining and the birds are chirping. You seem to be in a good mood today. Astute observation.
He's probably happy because he found out Honey Nut Cheerios can help lower cholesterol as part of a heart-healthy diet.
They're even shaped like hearts. So, in lieu of the obstacle course today, I propose a nice meditative nature walk. Does that sound delightful to everyone?
Yes, Drill Sergeant! Happy heart shapes are back for a limited time. Learn more about Honey Nut Cheerios by picking up a box at your local store.
It is the Blitz here on ESPN San Antonio. We got the 10K a day payday in full effect. Go to ESPNSA.com. Follow us a little bit, but listen constantly. 12 chances a day to win $10,000. We give you a keyword. Go to ESPNSA.com. Upload that. You too could win $10,000. Spurs go down last night, and it's not pretty. It was against the Memphis Grizzlies, you know, one of those second 2 games little stretches that the NBA is doing this year. The Grizz come with a bounce-back game. They haven't played in 12 days. You attribute some of that to fresh legs and excitement to being back, and the Spurs on the second of a back-to-back. And you attribute that loss. And then last night, I don't know, man. I don't think.
Was good.
Yeah, it was acceptable.
Good.
It was acceptable.
You know, last night's game reminds me a lot of what we saw today from Elon Musk. You know, the SpaceX thing, it took off. It floated in the air for about 6 minutes, and all was good. And then when it tried to land, it has trouble landing and it exploded on the launch pad on landing. You know, yesterday the Spurs started good, and then the second quarter everything just blew apart, and the Grizzlies were going from there. And we've talked about it before, and the Grizzlies are that one team in the NBA that we don't see enough, we don't hear enough. We talk about them being good, we talk about all that great young talent, but the Grizzlies are never on the national TV games. They're not talked about. They're kind of like the Spurs. Their highlights don't show up on SportsCenter all the time. And so they're that young team that we think is pretty good that we don't see very often. And then when you see them in person, you're like, holy crap, they're really good. No wonder they've won a lot of games. And they've beaten a lot of good teams during their NBA-long winning streak. So, you know, part of me, I'm still mad about the way the Spurs are playing because it's just clumsy and lost looking. They got their ass kicked. DeMar said it best, man. It was just an ass whipping. But I do think, though, that after the last game, I did not give the Grizzlies enough credit for how good they really are. I
think they deserve some.
I expected a much better effort from the San Antonio Spurs last night, and I think we saw it at the beginning, but the Spurs couldn't maintain it. And the Grizzlies just flat kicked their ass. Their young players are just far better than our young players.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. I mean, that is a team that they just still seem to have a little bit of bounce. And I think that the addition of Derek White has just kind of thrown some things off kilter. He had a nice start out. I mean, and I think coming in last night, he was pushing a little bit. That was kind of a dismal performance and because he's playing, we're seeing a little bit less of Vassell and a little bit more of a different style is required when White is in. And it's one of those things with a young team. They were clicking, and then you added another ingredient, and it just kind of threw it off, and Pop's going to have to readjust what they do well. What I did like, I thought DeMar and Patty Mills continued to offer that kind of veteran leadership to kind of guide them through when everybody else was going down. Keldon continues to amaze. I don't know what his nickname is going to be, but he plays downhill and strong. Whatever you can come up with, he just continues to be the guy that will take on the challenge when required, likes to get to the rim, and if he got any respect from the referees, he'd be shooting at least 6 more free throws a game. I think that at least 3 fouls a game go uncalled because Keldon has no rep. And as you know, next year, it'll be 2 calls. It's going to take a while for the refs to give him a little bit of cred. And I think that's one of the negatives for not having fans in a building. Because I think if I was in there and I watched the way that our young guys are reffed, I think fans would take exception to that because they're not getting the respect. And sometimes fans are required. Atlanta Hawk Karen withstanding. I do think that this young team does not get the benefit of the doubt with foul calls, and that's the league. I'm not mad. That's just what it is when you're a young player. But I think we have to accept the fact that some calls just don't, or the lack of calls sometimes just doesn't make any sense to me. There's ones that are happening that other teams get and the Spurs aren't.
But I do look. Keldon did go 8 for 8 from the line last night.
Yes.
Spurs went to the line 22 times. The Grizz only 18. So it's not like there was this great disparity, but it does feel like there should have been a lot more trips for the San Antonio Spurs. But I do like the evenness of the way the game was officiated.
See, that's the ultimate cop-out. It always ends up even. It is the call at the time. And in the second quarter, when you're starting to lose it, when momentum is slipping away and you get to the rim and you obviously are fouled, everybody around on your team thinks, well, I heard a slap, where's the whistle? And the ball goes the other way and John Morant's laying it up. That's the kind of thing that gets you. It's always going to even out in the wash. But it's when a ref stops momentum or hesitates and lets momentum go the other direction for the lack of a call is what gets me mad. But it's part of the league. It's not something that's unexpected. It's just that we have so many young guys and we got really accustomed, very used to getting, seeing Tim and Manu and Tony get those calls. I mean, there's a lot of teams that bitched about the Spurs because those guys got the calls. It's part of the league. That's what makes it very tough for young teams to grow in this league because you have to garner a fair amount of respect, not only from the other team, but the refs have to give you the benefit of the doubt. And if they don't know you, you don't get it.
You don't get it. But again, though, when I talk about even out, and I know what you're saying there, but as long as, to me, if the game looks like it's getting called on both ends, if it wasn't a foul on one and it's not on the other, I'm good with that. Let these guys play. I don't want to see a parade to the free throw line. I'm with you there. When I look at the Spurs, and you're right, I mean, some free throws would certainly help. I don't know what happened to their defense. I thought Derek White coming back would improve their defense. The Grizzlies shoot about 60%, 56%, and 50% from three-point range. I mean, I thought the Spurs would go in there, play good. We haven't seen them put back-to-back clunkers together all year. And I forget what my score prediction was yesterday. But with about 6 or 8 minutes to go in the game, I texted you boys and said, well, if the Spurs go on a 40-3 run, I'll be on my score prediction, because that's what it was. I mean, I just was stunned that we got our butts kicked the way we did.
Yeah, and our post or our paint defense, our interior defense is suffering because our perimeter defense is so bad. We make up for not defending the three-point line by leaving the paint completely available to whoever wants it. I can't quite figure out what the matchups are supposed to be. It just seems like there's a lot of open guys all over the court. And again, it doesn't seem like it's a lack of effort. It just seems like the responsibilities are not quite completely defined. I don't know. I will say this. I am sick of watching Lamarcus try to play post defense. I mean, somebody's going to have to play some decent pick and roll D. And to Jakob's credit, he did okay. But as James Fletcher said when we first got together today at our show prep, I think we need to pay Jakob Poeltl some more money. No, this guy, what he was negotiated to do with this pay raise, he can't do. I don't know what we're going to have to do with Jakob Poeltl because it is respectable post defense. That is it. It is not. The high pick and roll is his forte, defending and rim defense. It's just lacking. And when you're getting beaten to paint that much, it's either a missed help Somebody's not showing up on time to help Jakob, or Jakob just ain't getting there. It's one or the other. But whatever the case is, Memphis figured it out and just continues to pick that scab over and over and over when Jakob's in.
Look, it was working for them, and I think, and again, Jakob, he deserves every bit of criticism that he is garnering from the fans right now, but he is what he is. I don't know. I'm not disappointed in his play because he's not playing any worse than what I expected him to do, but he is what he is, right? Lamarcus Aldridge, I'm with you. It's Rudy Gay, the veteran guy that just looks lost and chaotic out there. I mean, he's got this chaos feel to his perimeter defense that just gets him seemingly all out of sorts and then just beat. And that I don't understand from a veteran player. It's just, I thought he was bad last night defensively, and I could say that with my expectation being I expect more out of Rudy Gay than what we saw last night.
Yeah, it's just a mess. And again, when you deal with a young team like that, it can turn around tomorrow. Sure. It's one of those things that when it all meshes, it meshes quite easily, but it's not held together very well. And you added one more sprocket to the Nardinal, and it didn't really mesh the last couple of days. And yeah, I will stay by it. I still believe that given this time where the Spurs sit, this is a fully functioning Death Star now. They've got everybody basically healthy. It is now time to kind of focus what you have and move forward for the next month. And at the end of this month, I firmly believe this is going to be a team that's in the fight for the playoffs. We're going to have a bunch of angry games, but I think we'll have more of the better side of the Spurs the more we see Derek White involved and before more and more we see roles defined. But it is obvious that they're kind of starting over. That Derek White not being here for the whole season affected a lot of things, and to get him back involved is going to affect some other things that aren't going to be easily watched.
Although I did not expect him to come back and the Spurs get 2 blowout losses. 0-2 on a week that started off as a 4-0 looking week.
Well, hope springs eternal.
I'm glad you're glad.
Hope springs. Again, this is what we want. I'd rather this team be entertaining both on the positives, the highs, but you gotta go through beatings like that. You gotta suffer just a little bit, or it's really hard to improve. And I know Pop is taking every advantage of the beating that they took to not go Serbian and still be relatable and be, all that he is without just losing his mind and going Serbian, because there's a lot of things that got to get fixed. We'll continue talking Spurs all week long as they endeavor on a bunch of tiebreaker games. Coming back, let's talk some gambling with a good friend, Doug Kazarian. He of the Daily Wager there on ESPN2. He's going to join us. Let's talk some gambling and look toward Tampa Bay. Some prop bets, I'm sure, are coming your direction. Get your wallets ready. Doug Kazarian's around the bend here on the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com.
If you're having issues at the house with your plumbing, your heating, your AC, there is one company to call, and that is Quartermoon Plumbing, Heating, and AC at 210-651-5899. At Quartermoon, they are a full-service plumbing company, big job, small job, residential or commercial. Their service trucks are fully stocked, and they have all the equipment needed for any job. At Quartermoon, they do not have commissioned sales reps. They'll provide estimates and second opinions. They have a great experienced staff that has earned an A-plus ranking with the Better Business Bureau. And at Quartermoon, they are green certified. 210-651-5899 is the phone number. 651-5899 or online, quartermoonplumbing.com.
Every Thursday night at 7 after the Blitz, ESPN San Antonio brings you Down for the Count, the premier wrestling and sports entertainment talk show, featuring news and interviews from WWE, NXT, and AEW. Down for the Count, only on ESPN San Antonio.
Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds has teamed up with Coach Ditka's Gridiron Greats Assistance Fund once again, helping heroes from the gridiron who are in dire need. They'll be celebrating Pork Rind Appreciation Day by giving away $5,000 and other incredible prizes. Plus, you could win a rare one-on-one conversation with a Pro Football Hall of Famer. And let me tell you, that's pretty awesome. Enter at porkrinds.com and pick up your favorite flavor in the snack food aisle at H-E-B.
The spread of COVID-19 is still unchecked across the nation, and you need to keep your family safe. Make a new habit and check your temperatures twice a day. once before dinner and before leaving home in the morning. You can't afford to take chances, so use the Exergen Temporal Scanner. Its accuracy is backed by more than 80 clinical studies, and it takes an accurate reading in seconds. It's the only home thermometer used and recommended by hospitals, doctors, and nurses. Quick and easy to use. You can count on Exergen to keep your family safe 24 hours a day.
Listen to this radio station on the radio.com app. Discover and enjoy your favorite music, news, and talk radio from live stations across the country. Listen anywhere on all mobile and home devices with the radio.com app.
Thomas J. Henry recently recovered $20 million for a back injury in a product liability case. If you were hurt in an accident, we can help. Visit tjhlaw.com/radio to start your claim today. That's tjhlaw.com/radio. San Antonio, Texas.
Northeast Independent School District is now hiring and training school bus drivers. Whether you're looking for a new job, you're a retiree, or you're retired military, come help drive students to succeed and apply at Northeast ISD Transportation today. No experience is necessary, and you will get paid while earning your CDL and learning how to drive a school bus.
The Northeast ISD Transportation Department is ranked as one of the top 100 school bus fleets in America,
and our drivers receive exceptional pay and benefits, including health, dental, vision, and retirement.
If you're looking for work, if you're retired from the military, or you simply want to make a difference in our community, apply now with the Northeast ISD Transportation Department.
Join our team and discover Northeast ISD by calling 210-356-9229. That's 210-356-9229. Or you can text Drive Bus to 797979. That's text Drive Bus to 797979.
Achieve your fitness goals this year with Body Armor Light. Body Armor Light is the low-calorie sports drink hydrating your active lifestyle. It has no artificial sweeteners, no sugar added, and only 20 calories per 16-ounce bottle. Whatever your goals might be, Body Armor Light is keeping you hydrated during your workouts and your busy day. From now until April 30th, buy $20 of any Body Armor product and earn $10 in fitness cash to select fitness retailers nationwide. Learn more at BACommitToFit.com. That's BACommit2Fit.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. Dealing with battery problems? We can help you out and get you ready for the colder weather ahead. Let's start with a free battery test. If you just need a free charge, we can help with that too. And if it's time for a new battery, we've got replacement batteries that fit your needs, starting at just $79.99. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination. Claim based on data from the NPD Group 2019.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
It's the Blitz here on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM on the go at ESPNSA.com. Every year we endeavor to help you make some money. We go to get the guys that will help you take some money home for the last football game of the regular season, and we've done it once again. We'd like to welcome on Doug Kazarian. You know him for all the gambling show, The Daily Wager, daily on ESPN2, and you got him right here on our big game coverage brought to you by Dietz Tractor. Doug, welcome on with Jason and Rob.
Oh, good to be with you guys. I wish we were sitting across in Radio Row, yucking it up, but you know what? We're going to make do just like everyone else.
Absolutely. And before we get into the game itself, for so many, a guy's trip, a lot of guys, hey, you go to Vegas, you watch the game in Vegas at the various sports books. You're based in Vegas now. And honestly, one of my favorite cities, love going there. I'm afraid to go there right now. What is it like right now in Las Vegas and gearing up for Super Bowl week?
Well, we're going to find out what the weekend has in store. But in general, I have to walk through a casino every day to work, and it's pretty busy, especially on the weekends. Now, granted, I think it's a congregation of a lot of people maybe not the most concerned about COVID, right? Like there are mask protocols and stuff like that. But just when you factor in sort of like the sourcing, if you will, it's going to be people who are a little bit less, fearing of COVID, right? Let's just say
Doug, we call them science deniers. we call those type science deniers, and what their political beliefs are, I don't know. But yeah, it seems strange. And Doug, and you talk about the full casino and business kind of picking back up. I saw something yesterday from the American Gaming Association that said that they're predicting the number of people making a bet on the Super Bowl itself is going to go down this year. I'm kind of surprised by that.
A little bit. It's gone up typically every year, and that totally makes sense. But obviously, we're in a different economic climate right now, and COVID is having an impact on a lot of people. And for sure, I've talked to odds makers who are expecting a decrease in handle for this year's Super Bowl handle. So, and then on top of that, just fewer people coming to Vegas, right? There's travel restrictions, and there's also just kind of capacity restrictions. I know some sports folks are at like 25% capacity, and that's the Nevada law right now. So I think because of that, and a lot of people travel to Nevada or Vegas for a Super Bowl weekend, won't have that guy's trip, if you will. So I would expect the handle to go down. The only thing kind of throwing me for a loop is that we have had expansion with states and more operators in various states. So they're making it easy for non-Nevada people in Nevada on Sundays to make a bet. So while we won't have the travel to Nevada, we're going to have states that enable legal gambling and, things like that. So it's going to be tough to predict, but let's be honest here. There's people out of work. People are certainly having their in a financial predicament, and gambling's not, top on the list in terms of where to spend their money.
Doug Kazarian with us here on ESPN San Antonio. And obviously, COVID, the pandemic, does have a bigger role in this football game that's coming up on Sunday. A lot of people will put their bets in as soon as that line comes out, or they'll wait till it's, where they want that number to be to make the bet. With the pandemic and the fear that, a major player could Thursday, Friday, Saturday be ruled out of the game, does that affect when you should actually place your bet?
Interesting. Yes.
That's a really good question, and something we've discussed all season. And so college football, we saw bettors wait until like game day, but the NFL, they've kind of figured out protocol. They've done a really smart way about it. So once again, I think the key is the line movement and the props, and bettors are it's more important to get the number, because, when there is random stuff, like hypothetically Patrick Mahomes tests positive for COVID Saturday or Sunday morning, that stuff hasn't been happening in the NFL, A, but B, you might catch a break as much as you lose, you're on the short end of that stick. So unless someone's got bad luck a bunch of times in a row, they're just not going to change their approach. So it's most important getting the key number in betting in the NFL this season.
He is Doug Kezerian. The Daily Text, his show. You can catch it on ESPN2 and here on ESPN yearly, almost to the day, as Doug joins us for our big game coverage. All right, let's look at the game itself. And, before we get into the minutia of the numbers and the bets, how much of a role does the Brady and Mahomes play into the average bet? I'm curious, those names, how are they applied? Are we seeing more numbers being thrown because of those guys, or is it just a broader team kind of sense because, it's two well-known offenses? Does that make sense?
No, yeah. I mean, so much of predicting the handle we were just talking about is the star power. And having Brady and having Mahomes is very important. If we had, game manager situations, right? Like, let's say Jared Goff was hurt and the Rams were in the Super Bowl with their backup running back, Wolford, that would not be as cool. But the fact that there are 47 different props with Tom Brady, I think that moves the needle. Now, sometimes there gets to be a fatigue factor. I think the Packers would have driven more handle. I think there would have been more excitement around Aaron Rodgers than Brady, but you can't go wrong with Brady. He certainly is popular and, just always, but there's some fatigue there. But I think getting, a situation like this is only good for betting handle. And like I said, there's 47 different Brady props, and there's always tons of props. So, but you're right. I think the excitement around and the familiarity around the quarterbacks is a component here.
It is nuts that there's that many props. I mean, more props than his actual age, which is kind of incredible. Let's start with the basic line. It's Chiefs by 3, and the over/under is 56. I was a little surprised by both of those numbers, to be honest. When you're talking to the odds makers there in Vegas, did they tell you how they, because Vegas is always right. How do they come up with that number?
So it's just a power rating. All teams are power rated. But what's been interesting with this game is, the night of the conference championship games, it got to 3.5 a couple times. And professional, respected, sharp money bet on the Bucks plus 3.5 and kept it at 3. 3 is the most common margin of victory in NFL history. In fact, even with the extra point distance moving back, 14.4% of games were decided by exactly 3 points. So something you'll hear a lot about in betting is a term called key number. 3 is such a key number. So to move off the number 3, it takes a lot because the difference between 3 and 3.5 is just enormous. It's not the same as, 5.5 and 5, right? Like, just think about it, right? So 3 is, and they'll move the juice, right? So it's not always minus 110. It'll be a little bit more, minus 120. 3, even though we're getting like 80% of handle at a lot of books on the Chiefs.
Doug Kazarian right here on ESPN San Antonio. The magic number is 3. I will keep that in mind from here on out. 3 is the magic number. Doug, okay, can we expect a big move Saturday or Sunday? Are you pretty comfortable with it staying about where it is?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to touch 3.5, and I don't think it's going to touch 2.5. I really don't, because the odds makers already know if it touches 3.5, they'll get a bunch of money on Tampa from the respected money, and the last thing they want to do is sort of get cited, right, for it to land 3, and they get to push and reimburse all those 3 minus 3 bets, and then they have to pay out the plus 3.5. So I think we're just going to be firm on 3.5 here, and it is what it is. But remember, the Super Bowl handle, it's about 50% on the game itself, and then about 50% on props. And so when you factor in the over/under, the game is only a slice of the pie. It's a big slice, but it's only a slice because there's all the props as well. And that's just part of it. So I think we're going to see 3 the rest of the way. And it is what it is. Like, the public really likes betting on the minus 3 with the Chiefs, and they're going to stick with what got them here. The odds makers all along will respect the respected money. And if the respected people are betting plus 3.5, then they're not going to move to 3.5.
Doug Kezerian here on ESPN San Antonio. Aside from the national anthem, what is the prop bet that is showing the most popularity right now?
Okay, so the national anthem, the Gatorade, all that stuff is not legal in the U.S. Indiana does some stuff with Gatorade and things like that, but for the most part, all that stuff is just, that's all offshore world. The stuff that gets like the most interest is actually like heads and tails, if you can believe it. I have never bet heads or tails. I do not understand people who bet heads or tails. I get the concept, but there's just so much other way to get like that action that I just don't see the logic. Like, for example, last year, heads or tails was like the 3rd most popular bet at Caesars William Hill, and then tail, whatever the other one was 4th most. And it's just like, I don't get it, but it is what it is. The most was Patrick Mahomes' rushing yards prop, and that was crazy last year. But the fact that heads and tails are that kind of common is kind of silly.
Is there anything that you've seen that you like that you're going, hey, try this one?
Yeah, no, there's a lot of props I like. I've circled a few. We're going to have some posting on ESPN.com. It starts with, will the game be tied? Will the game be tied after 0-0? And you have to lay minus 140, but for a variety of reasons, I just don't think we're going to see a lot of field goals. So we're going to see ties. I just feel like it's going to be a tight game. The point spread of -3 suggests that. Both coaches are kind of aggressive on 4th down, and I think, when you have some props that you can live bet the game during the game, and if, let's say, a team goes and scores 7-0, if the other team gets to midfield, there's going to be like minus 140 anyway on like a drive of a touchdown. So I just like that we can see a tie later in the game. That's Doug. I do like Brady's first passing touchdown under 12.5 yards. So he's thrown a touchdown pass in 18 games this year. Okay. He's had, I believe, 46 touchdown passes in those 18 games, including the playoffs. Only 18 of those 46 were 13 yards or more. So a lot of like within 10, 12 yards, like around the goal line to the tight ends and stuff. So if you're getting minus 110, I like under 12.5 yards for the first touchdown pass. I also think the Chiefs, are sort of like bend but don't break, kind of keep things in front of them kind of concept. Another thing I like is Mahomes' longest completion over 39.5 yards. And it's pretty straightforward. There's a lot of speed with the Chiefs. You got Tyreek Hill, Mecole Hardman, and Sammy Watkins coming back from injury. All those guys can kind of get behind the defense. We certainly saw that in the regular season meeting in Week 12. And even if they don't get behind the defense, you can throw kind of like a hitch, and they can make a guy or two miss, and their speed can get to the 40 yards. And we saw that in the AFC Championship game with the Bills.
Rack counts.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
So does Doug Kazarian, the Daily Take. Catch him on ESPN 2 every day. Doug, man, it's a pleasure catching up with you again. We look forward to seeing you face-to-face real soon.
Likewise. Be well, guys. Enjoy the game.
Doug Kazarian joining us here on ESPN San Antonio. Daily Wager, catch it on the regular there in Vegas. They got a fancy studio set up there. Doug is running point on the wagering side of things. I didn't take the time, and I feel like I should have asked, what's going on in Indiana? Why is it only Indiana that deals with maybe the national anthem or the Gatorades?
Well, it's funny because, you think about the offshore stuff, and when it comes to the national anthem, is that can get out too easy. And so I could see why that's offshore because, as we talked about yesterday with Dave Mason from Bet Online, somebody at rehearsal, some security guard somewhere is getting a whole lot of money to have a stopwatch. And so apparently Indiana doesn't care, and every other state does, and offshore doesn't care.
I heard that. I thought, Indiana, of all places to call out, well, those guys, they'll take money on anything.
Yeah, they will.
Those Hoosiers, they'll go after it. Hey, did you wake up this morning with bated breath to see what Punxsutawney Phil would see? Were you curious whether he would see his shadow or not?
No.
No? Well, it happened. He didn't see his shadow, evidently. We get to.
There's a nor'easter going on. There can't be 6 more weeks of this.
Well, see, that's the strange thing. It is what it is. But for him to stand out in like 8 feet of snow and go, well, it's going to be 6 more. Yeah, I think that's the easy call. But above and beyond that, Gobbler's Knob.
Huh?
I appreciate that one day a year I could say that.
Say what?
Gobbler's Knob.
And why would you say that?
I don't know. There's the 13-year-old psyche that I carry around with me. Years and years of intense therapy. I still giggle.
Well, because look.
Gobbler's Knob.
I woke up this morning and I heard that we were celebrating it. And I was like, celebrating what? I mean, what is there to? Oh, yes, because you get to go back to the 5th grade.
And celebrate something in Gobbler's Knob, Pennsylvania.
What do you figure their mascot is?
Dude, I can't.
Somebody Google that and let us know.
That is hey, we have huge news for you gamers. It's been gone since 2013. EA Sports has announced the return of NCAA football. The crowd rejoices greatly as one of the most fun video games to ever hit the market is coming back. Now, I don't know how EA is going to wrangle this, but the opening of the NCAA to players being paid for their likeness and name was born out of EA Sports, and now they're coming back into it, getting ready for dynasty mode and your own dude getting drafted into the league. Oh, my goodness, it's coming. Let's talk about EA bringing back one of the greatest games ever to come out on the market. In the 5 o'clock hour, my goodness, Keyshawn Johnson will be with us. We'll have Kevin Mawae, superstars and Hall of Famers coming your direction. Hang on, you're on the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com.
In San Antonio, we have some of the hardest water in the country. Jason Minix here from my friends over at Alamo Water Softeners. If your water tastes bad or has an odd smell, call Alamo Water Softeners. They'll come out to your house, give you a free estimate and test your water. And right now you can save $300 on select water care water softeners. Now, I've had a water softener in my home from Alamo Water Softeners for years. Wouldn't live without it. Not only will you get great tasting water, but you're going to save money because an Alamo water softener can extend the life of your appliances and plumbings. They are a great local company owned by the Townsends. Alan Townsend started the company. His son Trevor is running it now. I've known him for about a decade and just have watched a company grow over the years because they got a great product and great customer service. On the Nextdoor app, Alamo Water Softeners was voted a 2020 neighborhood favorite. Alamo Water Softeners is the best value for the highest quality water treatment. Discover the Alamo water softeners difference and take $300 off select water care water softeners. Learn more at alamowatersofteners.com. That's alamowatersofteners.com.
The ESPN San Antonio 10K Payday. This hour's winning word is
respect.
Enter that word now at ESPNSA.com. Another reason it pays to listen to ESPN San Antonio all day, every day.
Great cash, homie.
For the ones finding new ways to ensure the job always gets done. For the ones wearing many hats. For the ones who are hands-on, even from far away. And the ones keeping business moving forward. We are Grainger, offering supplies and solutions for every industry, with 24/7 support and experienced staff at over 250 local branches. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Not all pizza places are the same. Mellow Mushroom originated hand-tossed, stone-baked classic Southern pizza. Not in the mood for pizza? Order a calzone, hoagie, sandwich, burger, or a mellow salad and see how care goes into every item on the menu. Take your pick from 24 draft beers and or handcrafted cocktails. And many of the pizzas can be made gluten-free or vegan. Mellow Mushroom is at 1604 and Stone Oak Parkway. Hang with friends, watch the game, and mellow out at Mellow Mushroom.
Take your romance game to a whole new level this Valentine's with Diamonds Direct's most popular offer ever. 5 years, 0 interest financing on any purchase happening right now. You know jewelry is the perfect gift to celebrate your love. And with this incredible offer, you can afford to go big. Like a $6,000 diamond tennis bracelet, just $100 a month. Or a $3,000 pair of diamond earrings, just $50 a month. Diamonds Direct has teamed up with the world's top jewelry designers for an expanded selection of Valentine's surprises for any budget. Romantic gifts starting as low as $400. Rings, earrings, pendants, bands, colored gemstones. The guaranteed largest selection, highest quality, and always the best value. Whether you shop in store or online at DiamondsDirect.com. Make this the most memorable Valentine's ever with 5 years, 0 interest financing on any purchase, including engagement rings. Now through Valentine's Day. Celebrate your love at Diamonds Direct.
At the shops at La Cantera.
It's time for some straight talk. Look, we all drop our phones. It happens. You fumble it, crack it, splash it. Well, Straight Talk Wireless now offers this new Platinum Unlimited plan that includes phone protection. Just $65 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data, plus 20 gigs of hotspot, 100 gigs of cloud storage, and more. All on the best network. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. See Mobile Protect terms and conditions at Asurion.com/Straight Talk. Limitations and exclusions apply.
Fact: filing your taxes with TaxAct can feel like a cash explosion. That's because TaxAct helps you get your maximum refund guaranteed. And TaxAct costs 30% less than the big guys, which means more of this. So if you want a cash explosion of your own, switch to TaxAct. File for less and get more. Start for free at TaxAct.com. 30% less claim based on comparison of TurboTax and H&R Block federal pricing for deluxe and premier consumer online products on December 4th, 2020. Restrictions apply. See TaxAct.com for complete details.
It is the Blitz. You are on ESPN San Antonio. The Blitz is brought to you by the Thompson Law Firm. Jason Thompson's his name. Website's alawyerforus.com. If you've been in an auto collision, call Jason Thompson as soon as possible. He'll deal with the insurance companies. He'll make sure you are made whole, going after the maximum amount allowed by law. Remember, your consultation is always free. Jason Thompson, 210-900-0400. Or the website, alawyerforus.com. Announced today, rather surprising news, though not really, given the landscape of college sports. EA is jumping back into the college sports game. They're going to do NCAA football. It's been about 8 years. Last time it was down there was in 2013. And, they got fouled by Ed O'Bannon. He of UCLA noticed that his picture, his likeness was being played and didn't get paid for it. The lawsuit ended up costing EA about $40 million. And in the long run, we thought it was gone forever. But now players can get paid, right? So let's get busy again. So they're going to get going. I do have one question. Now, certainly this will generate millions and millions of dollars for not only EA, but the many players that will be, their likeness will be shown. But as it sits right now, you can go and deal with individual players, but you can't bargain with them collectively. And if you could, wouldn't that make them a union? And if you could come to an agreement with all the Division I types that are going to be playing on NCAA football, and they unionize to negotiate, would that give them even more leverage against the NCAA? I'm sure there is a plan in play, but dollar values are going to be interesting to see how they're distributed amongst these players, because I know the moment that it was announced, boy, Twitter started popping. This is an exciting thing for guys, and there's a generation that hadn't seen much NCAA football for nearly a decade.
Well, and I know for me, I used to love playing that game. Made me think, okay, I might actually have to go get a console.
I think a lot of people.
And relive. I mean, between that and NHL 94, those were the games that I always played, right? So, I mean, and I haven't had a game console in, I don't know. I mean, Erica had them all, but I haven't played in a long time. But it got me excited thinking, well, what could I do? I don't know how they're going to pay these guys. If you're EA, isn't it better to go in and drop a couple $100 on every player in there within the program as opposed to trying to negotiate individually?
I actually worked around EA for a while. I don't know the negotiations, how this would work, because you do know, like, if you go to say, just pick your premier blue ribbon school, just pick one. You're going to have 5 or 6 guys that are going to be mentioned in the game. You're going to have the quarterback, and you're going to have, last names will be used. But for the rest, they're just numbers, and they're just likenesses. They're not really you, but they are you because they were wearing the same jersey color in the same year that you wore it. So I think there'll be gradations of pay. Like if you're on the base level, everybody gets maybe a free console. Everybody gets a PlayStation, or everybody gets a new one, and $500. But if your name's mentioned, suddenly dollar values, move up. And if you are part of the promo crew and you're part of the picture campaign, you get a little bit more. And if you're the cover boy, you get a little bit more, and you won't be restricted by, the cover guy for NCAA had to have graduated. You couldn't have, but now you will literally be able to use a Trevor while he is a Trevor at Clemson. So it will make the marketing of the game interesting, but how they're going to pay the players. This will be the first real step to see what the superstar's true value is in college sports. And at the same time, we get to build a dynasty and have our own guy drafted into the league. I remember my first guy, when he got drafted, it's like, it almost brings a tear to your eye.
Well, and then I'm curious now, can I put somebody in a transfer portal of my own? Can I start stacking that Texas Longhorn team with some guys in my transfer portal? Or what if they hit the transfer portal? I mean, there's a lot of things here in the development stages.
We got a lot to talk about. We need to take a break because we're bringing you some superstars. Your Dietz Tractor Big Game Coverage is going to get moving quick in the 5 o'clock hour. Brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds and Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds. Keyshawn Johnson, give him the damn mic because he's joining us at 5. Kevin Mawae, Hall of Famer, NFL legend, will join us at 5:30. It's lots to do, so let's get busy. You're on the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com. If you woke up this morning getting ready for the Super Bowl and we're dealing with one of those nagging pains that is keeping you out of the game, get it fixed. Call my friends over to Rosti. These guys are passionate experts about getting you out of pain in a remarkably short amount of time. Pros like Clayton Kershaw, Becky Hammond, to name just a few, Tony Parker as well, have used a Rosti to get themselves back in the game, and you should do the very same. I'm talking about a non-invasive program. We're not talking about surgery, certainly not talking about pain-deadening medications, either over-the-counter or not. We're talking about an expert helping you get through pain by fixing the problem physically. Your body being manipulated, and it's amazing how it works. If you deal with lower back pain or you deal with shoulder pain, if you got one of those frozen shoulders that you just won't allow you to work over your head, or that bad back that every time you tweak it, it turns just a little bit odd and you're down for a couple of weeks, if that's you, get it fixed. Rosti providers, well, they're all around San Antonio, and they're easy to find. I recommend going to Rosti.com. That's their website, AIRROSTI.com. You can go there and see a list of all the different providers. You can schedule a full consultation either online or by phone. I'd recommend going in and getting all things taken care of. Rosti providers never require well, you don't need to get a referral. You can just go ahead and make the call and get yourself into an Rosti provider. Go to the website. Either way, head into an Rosti provider today. Get that pain taken care of. Do not let pain keep you from doing things that you love. Get back in the game. Call it a Rosti provider today, and I am sure you'll thank me later.
Your silver and black game nights start here.
Hi, this is DeJounte Murray of the San Antonio Spurs.
Game Night San Antonio, brought to you by the Mellow Mushroom.
This is Matt Bonner, a.k.a. the Red Rocket, a.k.a. the Red Mamba, a.k.a. the Sandwich Hunter.
30 minutes before every game night on the Blitz, we give you an in-depth look at your silver and black.
1250. ESPN San Antonio.
94.5 FM.
And on the go at ESPNSA.com. ESPNSA.com.
You love Southern Recipe small batches, bold pork rind flavors. Whether it's their spicy dill, Korean kimchi barbecue, or pasilla chili cheese, they've got the keto-friendly protein-packed snack that crushes all others. Want to win $5,000 plus Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds for a whole year? Enter at porkrinds.com right now. Porkrinds.com. Plus, you'll have a chance to win a one-on-one conversation with a Pro Football Hall of Famer. And while you're at HEB, grab a bag of Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds.
Yo, SA, San Antonio, Spurs Nation. This is your man, Robert Ory, Big Shot Bob. And I want you to check out my new podcast, the Big Shot Bob Pod. We'll always be talking hoops, football, sports, and I'm going to bring you some big guests like the one and only Shaquille O'Neal in our premiere episode.
I know I didn't come in training camp the best of shape, but
well, you did one time.
Yeah,
Subscribe now to the Big Shot Bob Pod on the Podcast One app, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere you listen to podcasts.
The spread of COVID-19 is still unchecked across the nation, and you need to keep your family safe. Make a new habit and check your temperatures twice a day, once before dinner and before leaving home in the morning. You can't afford to take chances, so use the Exergen Temporal Scanner. Its accuracy is backed by more than 80 clinical studies, and it takes an accurate reading in seconds. It's the only home thermometer used and recommended by hospitals, doctors, and nurses. Quick and easy to use. You can count on Exergen to keep your family safe 24 hours a day.
Progressive Motorcycle presents Road Wisdom from the Motor. To find your balance, keep riding. And if you stop, put your feet down so you don't fall. Progressive Motorcycle also presents Roadside Assistance. Progressive Motorcycle, for those who were born to ride. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Wendy's new classic chicken sandwich is now in the 2 for $5, and that's reason to celebrate. Try the new classic and then take your mouth on a victory lap with the iconic Dave Single, the delicious spicy chicken sandwich, spicy or crispy 10-piece nuggets, or just get another classic chicken sandwich. Taste greatness today with Wendy's 2 for $5. We got you.
For a limited time, a la carte only. Price and participation may vary. U.S. Wendy's.
KCDC San Antonio.
This is Archie Manning, 1250 ESPN San Antonio.
And 94.5 FM. Where the pros play. Dietz Tractors presents ESPN San Antonio's Big Game Coverage. Brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds and Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds. Jason Minix, Rob Thompson, The Blitz.
It is the Blitz here on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, on the go at ESPNSA.com. Your big game coverage brought to you by Dietz Tractors continues. We'd like to welcome on the K in the KJZ, Keyshawn Johnson. Welcome on the show, man. How's your morning going?
It's good, man. It's a little snowy out here, a little chilly, a little snowy out in the Northeast, but I'll manage being a Southern California guy and, kind of growing up in great weather every year. And now I'm out here shoveling snow out of my driveway and de-icing my windshield.
Yeah, you can.
Dude, do you ever get used to that?
Days. Yeah.
You say what now?
Do you ever get used to that, Keyshawn? We're down in South Texas, man. I've never shoveled snow. I don't even know what a snow shovel looks like. So do you ever get used to it?
When I was playing here in New York, I don't ever remember having to deal with it at that level. For whatever reason, I don't think it was a bad winter the 4 years I was here. And quite frankly, I was pretty much gone this time of year. I was starting to travel around this time of year because the season was over. Now I may travel somewhere. So I missed some of the bad weather. But this time around, I'm here. I'm living here. I'm stuck. There's nothing I can do. We can't even travel because of the pandemic. Otherwise, I would be on the road vacationing.
Yeah, absolutely. You'd be in Tampa Bay right now if it wasn't for that pandemic as we get ready for the Super Bowl. Keyshawn Johnson joining us here on ESPN San Antonio. So many areas to try to go, and I'll let you decide. You want to talk Super Bowl? You want to talk Dak Prescott and the fact that he doesn't have a contract yet? Or, listening to KJZ, man, you are campaigning hard, my friend, for Deshaun Watson to wear that New York Jets uniform.
Well, we can go anywhere you want to go.
Well,
let's talk Deshaun.
Yeah, let's talk Deshaun. Let's start there. One, do you think he could get the situation in Houston resolved with Coley going in now as the new head coach?
No, I don't. I think that his mind is checked out about being a Houston Texan. It's not about Coach Culley. It's not about that. It's about Kyle McNair and Jack Easterby. It's not about Nick Caserio, the general manager who was hired without Deshaun knowing. It's more about Kyle McNair and Jack Easterby. And I think when a player checks out mentally and doesn't want to be a part of an organization, you have to honor that and figure out what's the best way moving forward that you can build your program. You have a once-in-a-lifetime generational quarterback, and you screwed it up. You fumbled. And so now it's all about the recovery. How do you recover from the fumble? Do you get some picks back? Do you do those sort of things and allow him to go on? Or do you become stubborn and try to force his hand, which therefore you're going to have an unhappy quarterback? Why would you want that?
What do you expect, Keyshawn? Are they gonna play hardball with him? Or you think he'll get moved here in the next couple of weeks?
Playing hardball, what does that do for you, right? Like, what does that do for you? Like, you playing hardball, what does that do?
Well, it got him here. I've always operated under the premises you can't make sense out of nonsense. And what that McNair and Easterby have done is nonsensical. I don't know how you get yourself in this situation. So, Keyshawn, I can't figure out what their next move would be because obviously they're not doing what I think would most normal, let's use that in quotes, GMs would have been lay the Golden Gate down and get him here. Let Deshaun get whatever he wants and keep him. But they're not going to do that. So you wonder, are they going to be stupid enough to hold on to him?
But I don't have a problem with the head coach and the general manager. I have a problem with the owner. The owner ain't selling the team.
True.
Right? And if he ain't selling the team, then I don't want to be a part of it. And that's Deshaun's mindset, according to a lot of people that's out there covering this thing.
Now, when you look at, according to a lot of the reports that we're watching all day, that when teams are calling the Texans to talk about Deshaun in a trade, they say they're not interested in trading right now. And I don't know if that's true or not, if they're taking the calls or whatnot. But, I mean, you saw the Stafford Goff deal. Is that the floor of where the value would have to come back in for Deshaun Watson? Before that trade, I said I start with 3 1s and 3 2s over 5 years and throw in a player or two to get Deshaun Watson out of Houston. Is that fair in your mind?
I think it was fair. He's in his own category. Now let's figure it out. He's in his own category. Let's figure it out. What do you have?
Well, okay. Is there enough? Does anyone have enough?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, number one picks are not valued the same way they were 10 years ago. That's why you see a lot of guys being swapped for ones, because things are a short window now to win. It's a short window, 3-4 years. A guy won a Super Bowl 3 years ago and got fired.
Yep.
Guy went to a Super Bowl 2 years ago and got traded to a team in Detroit for multiple picks. Like, they don't value it the same. They look at it and say, well, Brandon Cooks was traded to the Rams from New England in the 20s. The Rams looked at it and said, well, none of these receivers coming out of here is as good as Brandon Cooks, so we're going to give up our one and trade for Brandon Cooks and then trade him 2 years later back to another team.
Keyshawn Johnson joining us here on the Blitz. Our big game coverage brought to you by Dietz Tractor and AA Best Bail Bonds. Keyshawn, I want to talk a little bit about head coaches. And, you played for a few legends. Does the head coach affect you at all? Was that part of your decision-making when you go to a team? What's the process behind that? Or would a coach make you leave?
Well, a little bit of both. I played for Bill Parcells, but he inherited me after 1 year when I was drafted. I didn't drafted by the Jets. Richie Kotite was there. Had I known that Richie Kotite was going to be as bad as he was and our team would be as bad, maybe I would have looked to do something different. But when I got Bill Parcells, my life changed. It was a dream come true. Tony Dungy was a dream come true. John Gruden was fabulous. We won the Super Bowl, but I saw through his shenanigans and who he was. I was the first to see it. He pulled the wool over a lot of people's eyes, in my opinion, but I wasn't one that was buying it. So him and I didn't see eye to eye. I just wasn't with that. I called him out on the carpet, and he didn't appreciate that. So we parted ways. And then Coach Fox, I went to the Carolina Panthers. I went to Dallas because of Bill Parcells and Todd Haley and that staff. And then I went to Carolina based on my relationship with Dan Henning, who was my offensive coordinator, play caller with the New York Jets. So it all just depends on the circumstances.
And it factors in. Keyshawn Johnson here on ESPN San Antonio. You mentioned your time with Dallas. The Cowboys have a franchise quarterback that they say they want to keep, yet he doesn't have a long-term deal yet. And as we get ready to start another offseason, the same storyline from a year ago is, will the Cowboys get Dak Prescott signed? From a player's mentality, the fact that they did offer him a deal over $100 million guaranteed that Dak did not turn down. But what's it like from the player side when you don't have that long-term security from a team?
I never really been in that situation. I mean, I always had long-term deals and long-term success because that's just the way we set things up to be. I mean, we always live in the what ifs, and like my longtime agent Jerome Stanley said, what if the sun explodes tomorrow? What, saying things like what you got to know when it's right. You can't continue to negotiate over things that don't make sense. And it's up to your representatives to let you know. In the end, you want to secure yourself. And I think that deal will get done. But I've always lived in a what ifs. What if you go out there and this happens? What if you walk in and you slip off a curb and you break your hip? What if? And so you got to sometimes think about certain things. And I don't know what they offered him, and I don't know what the language looks like or what his agent is telling him. I just know at some point they need to get a deal done so he can go ahead and start playing football for the Cowboys and not have to worry about his long-term future.
Keyshawn, he had the ultimate what if. He comes in franchise and gets a leg snapped. If that what if had happened to you, would that genuinely affect, would the desperation or the need to make sure that the money was there immediately and in a timely fashion for years to come, or would you still have been willing to wait after you went through the ultimate what if?
Well, I'm not a major risk taker like that.
Right.
Once my representative told me that this is probably what you should do, then that's probably what I'm going to do, because that's what I hired him for, and that's what Dak hired his representatives for. I just trust my longtime agent because he wasn't agenting for the next player. He wasn't doing deals. What I mean by agenting for the next player, he wasn't doing deals to show people, look, see, I got this deal done, so you should hire me. That wasn't my agent. So I don't know what his guy is telling him. Clearly, they offered him something. What that something structured and looked like, I have no idea. But I'm trying to get a deal done, man. I'm not trying to play games to get a couple more $1 million, to be able to have my agent stand on a podium and say, I'm the best agent in America. Look at me.
Keyshawn, I got to be honest with you. Your response, that is not the response I would have thought. For you to say that you're not a risk taker, that would have been the first thing I would have thought you were, but by your attitude and everything else. But financially, it was get the money in the bank, and then I'll worry about things. Is that kind of been your attitude? Because I don't think a lot of guys think that way anymore.
Yeah, but that was always been my attitude. Having not really knowing me like you don't. I mean, you know me from afar, conversations on the phone. Don't believe the narratives. Don't follow the narratives, right? I mean, don't think that there's this don't give a damn type of attitude because that's what people wanted it to be. And so I'm glad to be having this conversation with you because that was never who I was. I was always a guy who was reasonable, who understood business and who understand the practicality of the what ifs. And you got to know that. And if you don't know it, shame on your representatives and shame on you. Can't tell a man to take money if you don't want it.
Well, I take it. That's 10,500 receiving yards, 64 touchdowns talking. Keyshawn Johnson, give him the damn ball, give him the damn mic on KJZ right here on ESPN San Antonio every morning. Keyshawn, we can't let you go. Big game in Tampa. Certainly all the narratives have done. What is the one thing that you look at as a wide receiver, a former star in the league, that maybe your average fan looks at when you look at picking a game?
Well, I'm really looking at the defensive side of the ball. What has hurt Tom Brady in the past is the pass rush. JPP, or not Tom Brady, I'm sorry. Kansas City's pass rush is what I'm looking at when you look at what has had Tom Brady off his mark, the JPPs of the world, those type of guys. So when you look at what Chris Jones can create in the middle of the field, the blitzing package with Tyrann Mathieu, creating that kind of confusion and havoc for Tom Brady. If you can do those, negating him from being Tom Brady, you have an opportunity to win the game. You know, they don't have a traditional pass rush. This is not JPP. This is not Shaq Barrett. This is not Warren Sapp, Simeon Rice, Booger McFarland. This is a mixed match of things to get to the quarterback. This is not Michael Strahan and JPP and Tuck and Umenyiora. This is, hey, we're going to blitz a guy. We're going to do these sort of things. We're going to play man-to-man on the back end, and we're going to kind of confuse Tom Brady as much as we can and get him off his mark. That's something that I look forward to when I'm watching this game.
Keyshawn, man, it is always a pleasure. You will spend more time on ESPN San Antonio today than anybody else because you got him this morning and you got him right now. KJ, man, Keyshawn, thanks for taking some time with us, bro. We appreciate it.
No problem at all.
Keyshawn Johnson right here on ESPN San Antonio. Not a risk taker. You know, he acted like we were crazy. I was crazy for thinking that, but the name of your book, your bestseller, was "Give Me the Damn Ball." I do recall some strident negotiations at a time there with the Buccaneers. So
there was, and he is. I mean, I kind of, obviously the guy is not used to living in the Northeast. And, you know, as he talked about shoveling, I'm going on his Twitter page. I didn't want to bring it up because how do you ask Keyshawn Johnson, dude, why don't you have a garage? But he put a video out of him trying to get the mountain of snow off his car. And he does not know how to do that. It's obvious. And I didn't want to call him out because he's making fun of himself by putting the video out. But, dude, I'm looking at what you're driving, and I'm looking at the driveway in the house that's associated with it. You know, that little door opens up, put your car in there, and you don't have to worry about it, my friend.
Now, I have two questions. I have not seen it. What kind of car was buried in the snow?
It looked like a very high-end SUV.
A very high-end. So you wonder what the hell he had in the garage. That was the car out front was the beater. so the good ones. Covered safely in a temperature-controlled enviurement. It was good
either a BMW or Porsche looking SUV, you know. Mm-hmm. But there was so much snow you couldn't tell.
In August, yeah, we'll have a discussion. But right now, man, I am so glad I am not dealing with a nor'easter and a bomb cyclone or whatever the hell is going on with the Northeast with feet of snow. That is just the worst way to live. I know they look at us when it's 105 and go, look, I don't know how you're living on the face of the sun, but I look up there. At least when it's 105, it does not require physical labor. I mean, I don't have to go out and do something because of that.
I have a theory from my time of living in New York City and in Philadelphia that those people are always so damn grumpy. Because if you had to start your day by starting your car 30 minutes before you were going to leave and then scraping snow and ice off your windows, and if in some neighborhoods in Philadelphia where they're double parked waiting for your neighbor to leave, you'd be grumpy as hell, too, if you had to start your day like that every day for several months.
Walk out, can't even discern your car. It's just a series of white lumps. Just like, which white lump is yours? Beep, beep. They're all beeping. I don't know. I'm going to go back into bed. I got another day. I got some sick days. I'll see you tomorrow.
Work from home is wonderful.
Got another toothache, Rob?
Yeah, another toothache, man. I'm out.
Yeah.
Hey, we got Kevin Mawae going to join us. Hall of Famer offensive lineman going to be here in just a couple of minutes as our Dietz Tractor Big Game Coverage continues. Brought to you by AA Best Bail Bond, Southern Recipe, Small Batch Pork Rinds. Coming back, let's look at that Spurs debacle and look forward to Kevin Mawae. You're on the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com. Where are you going to go watch the biggest game of the year? That's my question for you. Get to Twin Peaks for the very best seats made from, the very best man cave, all the finest scratch food, 29-degree beer. It's a football fan's paradise, and no one wants you to sit in the nosebleed seats. Get a good one. Sit in a man cave where everything is controlled and absolutely perfect. Who you got? The Bucks or the Chiefs? It don't matter. The scratch food coming out of the kitchen will take care of you. That 29-degree cold beer will whet your appetite and get you ready for all that goes along with Twin Peaks. There's a reason to head out there. Well, it's the food, it's the drink. Heck, it's Twin Peaks. But why do you go? Well, I know why. It's those scenic views.
Want to treat your significant other to a weekend away or to a nice date? Well, ESPN San Antonio is giving away $500 to 2 couples. Get all the details and enter today at ESPNSA.com. Brought to you by New Brakes Mobile Brake Repair.
Jason Minix here for BSG, the company that brings you the best in home security and smart home technology. The security system in my house is from BSG. The video cameras, video doorbell, and other features are fantastic. Right now, get a free basic smart home security system for as low as $29.95 a month. Free installation, no money down, no activation fee, and no payments for the first 6 months on select home security system packages. Learn more at bsgtexas.com/radio. I love the security system in my home, and BSG installed the same system in my mother's house. Large, easy-to-use LCD screen, and the icons on the panel are the same as on the app. It's easy to use and gives you that great peace of mind. BSG is San Antonio's home technology company, a great local company built on trust, quality, and safety. They're the best in the industry. Call 210-877-1222 or go to bsgtexas.com/radio.
Guys, stop what you're doing. Give me a few seconds of your time and let me give you a piece of advice that will change your love life forever. Have you noticed you've been losing a little pep in your step? Has your lady friend asked you, is everything okay? Do you find yourself having trouble rising for the occasion? Do you stress out before that special moment and wonder, is it gonna work? Guys, I'm going to let you in on a big secret. You don't ever have to worry again. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula has you covered. Mojo is the 100% guaranteed male enhancement formula that guarantees lasting success, if you know what I mean. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula is safe, natural, and effective every single time, guaranteed. Mojo is available in a fast-acting spray and a quick-action capsule. Do yourself and her a favor and call Pure Line Nutrition in San Antonio today. They'll get you set up for success. Call 210-494-2210. That number again is 210-494-2210. Mojo Male Enhancement, only available at Pure Line Nutrition.
If your water tastes bad or has an odd smell, you need to call Alamo Water Softeners because in San Antonio, we have some of the hardest water in the country. When you call Alamo Water Softeners, they'll come to your home, give you a free estimate, and test your water. Right now, save $300 on select water care water softeners from Alamo Water Softeners, the best value for the highest quality water treatment. Go to alamowatersofteners.com and discover the Alamo Water Softeners difference. That's alamowatersofteners.com.
Gary is refinancing his home, so he shopped around for the lowest rate and found it at Amerisave.com, setting him up for a lifetime of savings. It's one decision he'll never regret, unlike taking that gig in the testing lab at the deodorant company.
Raise your arm, please. Oh, man, I hate this job.
Pretty regrettable, Gary, unlike finding that low mortgage rate at Amerisave.com that's got you on your way to a lifetime of savings. Amerisave's rates won't be this low forever, so go to Amerisave.com now. Lower mortgage rates mean higher savings. Call 866-514-SAVE or visit Amerisave.com/licensing for cost information, terms, and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all states except New York. And MLS number 1168.
Wendy's is dropping the hammer with 2 made-to-order breakfast sandwiches for just $4.
So if you've been wronged by pre-made breakfast and their frozen folded eggs and rubbery microwaved bacon,
get to Wendy's and get the bread you deserve, like the honey butter chicken biscuit, classic bacon, egg, and cheese, and the classic sausage, egg, and cheese. Choose any 2 of them for just $4. Justice is served. Only at Wendy's. We got you.
Offer valid for a limited time only. Price and participation may vary at U.S. Wendy's. Single item at regular price.
Blitz. You're on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, on the go at ESPNSA.com. We got Kevin Mawae coming in just a couple of minutes. You know, before we do go get him, did you get this email, Jason? The Spurs are announcing they're hosting a virtual clinic to inspire girls tomorrow. I think this is pretty cool for a hashtag Girl Dad types that are listening right now. Her time to play. It's a virtual clinic. It'll be going on tomorrow for girls 6 to 14. It's a virtual thing. It'll be on the Zooms. You can register online. Let me get the website. We'll make sure we get that up. And Adam, go to spurs.zoom.us to get yourself registered. It looks pretty cool. I look at the folks that are coming, and it's kind of a cool way to kind of get your young ladies involved, or if they're already involved, with some of the San Antonio Spurs types. So
it is very cool. In fact, the Spurs are doing a lot of cool stuff right now without fans in the building to try to engage the fans, you know, whether it's the cutouts that are available now and the podcast that Bonner is doing and some others. You know, they're doing it. And again, you know, a couple losses like last night, they might have to do more because last night was brutal. In the next game, well, they're going to be without Lamarcus Aldridge. He's got a hip flexor soreness. The Spurs in the last 20 minutes or so sent out the injury update, and Lamarcus is out for tomorrow's game.
He will be greatly missed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he will be.
He will be. Of course. I mean,
he's the Spurs are not a net negative with him. They are a net positive. There is no question. But when we see what we saw last night, you see the problems that Lamarcus offers this offense. That when he's on, and it helps. And offensively, he certainly helped and did his best he could, I guess. But I don't think that'll be a great loss. I think there's some minutes that need to be distributed in other places, and given who they're going to be dealing with, it's a perfect timing to recharge your batteries, Lamarcus. We come back. Let's talk with a Hall of Famer. What do you say? Class of 2019. Kevin Mawae joins us next. Your big game coverage brought to you by Dietz Tractor, coming around the corner here on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com.
You know, injuries do happen, so if you twist, pull, pop, or snap something, you need to know about the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics. Now, you don't have to be an athlete to use TSAOG Orthopedics, but you do want to use the athlete's choice. From a minor sprain to a compound fracture, TSAOG Orthopedics has got you covered and everything in between. Literally today, I was talking to a friend of mine. Injured himself over the weekend on a motorcycle. He's got to have his elbow redone, his right elbow, his left knee. TSAOG Orthopedics doing both of those surgeries. Now, not all injuries require surgery. Dr. David Espinosa treats all non-operative orthopedic injuries. He also does concussion baseline testing. There's no reason to be in pain. So if you're hurting it, you need to know about the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics. Telemedicine services are available through OrthoConnect. Go to the website to learn more, TSAOG.com. That's TSAOG.com.
You could win $50,000 in the ESPN San Antonio Big Game Score Contest. Can you pick it perfectly for the chance to win $50,000? Go now to ESPNSA.com and enter what you think the score will be. Sign up today at ESPNSA.com.
If you can't sleep because of annoying knee pain, that's a problem. If you stop running because your feet always hurt, that's a problem. If your elbow, shoulder, and neck pain make it impossible for you to do your job, that is a problem, and it's time to finally do something about it. I'm Dr. Jason Garrett from Arasti. At Arasti, we fix pain fast. No medications, no injections. Arasti treatment is completely natural and non-invasive. Plus, we accept most insurance plans. There's a location near you. Visit Arasti.com. That's AIRROSTI.com. Arasti, we fix pain fast.
Carmen's startup found an angel investor, but now they're asking for a miracle from her development team.
Hello, this is Carmen. That's exciting news. I guess we could launch early.
It's time to hire.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. The moment you sponsor a job on Indeed, you get a short list of quality candidates from our resume database. Indeed delivers 2.5 times more hires than the other branded job sites combined, according to Breezy HR 2019. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get a $75 credit for your first job post. Terms and conditions apply.
Take your romance game to a whole new level this Valentine's with Diamonds Direct's most popular offer ever. 5 years, 0 interest financing on any purchase happening right now. You know jewelry is the perfect gift to celebrate your love. And with this incredible offer, you can afford to go big. Like a $6,000 diamond tennis bracelet, just $100 a month. Or a $3,000 pair of diamond earrings, just $50 a month. Diamonds Direct has teamed up with the world's top jewelry designers for an expanded selection of Valentine's surprises for any budget. Romantic gifts starting as low as $400. Rings, earrings, pendants, bands, colored gemstones. The guaranteed largest selection, highest quality, and always the best value. Whether you shop in store or online at DiamondsDirect.com. Make this the most memorable Valentine's ever with 5 years, 0 interest financing on any purchase, including engagement rings. Now through Valentine's Day. Celebrate your love at Diamonds Direct.
At the shops at La Cantera.
Well, San Antonio, it's official. 2020 is hindsight, and it couldn't happen soon enough. Chip Ingram here from the Rupo. As 2021 takes over, we're excited for NFL playoffs, the new look Spurs, and the prospect of life without masks and curfews and daily briefings. I want to thank you personally for your support through one hell of a year, and invite you to keep coming back to the Rupo, located at 281 in Redmond Road. See you at the Root.
For the ones finding new ways to ensure the job always gets done. For the ones wearing many hats. For the ones who are hands-on, even from far away. And the ones keeping business moving forward. We are Grainger, offering supplies and solutions for every industry, with 24/7 support and experienced staff at over 250 local branches. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Achieve your fitness goals this year with Body Armor Light. Body Armor Light is the low-calorie sports drink hydrating your active lifestyle. It has no artificial sweeteners, no sugar added, and only 20 calories per 16-ounce bottle. Whatever your goals might be, Body Armor Light is keeping you hydrated during your workouts and your busy day. From now until April 30th, buy $20 of any Body Armor product and earn $10 in fitness cash to select fitness retailers nationwide. Learn more at BACommitToFit.com. That's BACommit2Fit.com.
Jason and Rob here. You know we both love to grill, and you do. Grilling with the Blitz every Thursday at 6, brought to you by Tri-County Meat Market.
Submit your favorite recipes and grilling pictures on ESPNSA.com for your chance to win a $50 gift card from Tri-County Meat Market, the Heatner location. We'll give you a winner every week.
So what are you grilling this weekend? Grilling with the Blitz every Thursday at 6, brought to you by Tri-County Meat Market. Submit your recipe and pictures now at ESPNSA.com for your chance to win.
It is the Blitz. Welcome aboard 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM. He's Jason Minix. I'm Rob Thompson. And if you are on the proper device, you will see the big right arm of Kevin Mawae. The Beats Tractor Big Game Coverage continues. Brought to you by AA Best Bail Bond Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds. Our cavalcade of Hall of Famers continues as we'd like to welcome on the show Willie, a great football player that I'm excited to talk with. Kevin Mawae, welcome aboard, my friend. It's glad to have you aboard.
All right. Thanks for having me, man. I'm glad to be with you guys.
Appreciate you taking the time as we get ready for the Super Bowl down in Tampa Bay. And it's kind of strange that we're not on Radio Row right now, that we're not in Tampa Bay, that we're doing this virtually. You know, you had the Hall of Fame NFL career, but you also right now are on the coaching staff with Herm Edwards there at Arizona State. And, you know, I've got a daughter there at ASU. I understand how difficult this football season was. What was it like on the inside of the building trying to put together a football season?
Yeah, well, things have changed since the season ended, so I'm no longer on staff here at ASU. I've moved on. I've joined another program, but I'm not able to tell where yet because they haven't made it public. But
oh, come on, just break some news for us.
It's a new opportunity for me and one that I'm excited about. But but as far as being at ASU this year, it's just hard with the COVID thing. You know, we expected a big season, and we went to a 6-game season. Like after the first game, we ended up canceling 3 games. it was just a difficult up and down season for everybody. But we got through the 4 games that we played, and fortunately for all the student athletes that want to come back, they're able to come back and be a part of the program again. So we'll see what happens with them.
Kevin Mawae joining us here on ESPN San Antonio. Class of 2019 Hall of Famer and a football coach. Kevin, was that always the plan? Did you intend on headed toward coaching?
Well, I had 2 choices when I left LSU back in the day. It was go to the Army and go into football. And I chose football. It worked out really well for me. And after I retired, I took some time away from the game deliberately just to get away. My kids were in high school. I knew coaching might be in the future, but not while they were in high school. Since then, we're empty nesters, and we have been for about 4 years now. So it's been a 7-year process for me to get a coaching job, and I finally got one. But my daughter's at the University of Hawaii. My son was living in South Florida, and so this is an opportune time for us. But after I got away from the game, I started training guys individually. Had a bunch of clients, junior high all the way to the pros, and that was fun. But I wanted to take a group of 5 guys, mold them together, and teach them how to play as a unit. And so that's kind of where I started. I started volunteering at LSU, and then of course I went to training camps at different places, and I locked on here at ASU, and now I've got an opportunity to join the staff, and so I'm excited about it.
Well, and you think about, you took a little bit of time before you got into coaching. I look at like Jason Witten announces his retirement, and yesterday it was announced he's going to be the head coach at a private high school in the Dallas area. I saw Phillip Rivers is doing the same thing, and I'm curious, okay, you go from the NFL to coaching high school, or, in your mind, do you take, is that just kind of the decompression kind of year where you see if you like coaching?
Yeah, I think everybody does it differently. For me, I retired in 2009. 2010, I actually was a volunteer intern at Vanderbilt University. I was working out there, and I didn't sign anywhere, so they just invited me to stay for the season, and I did, and I really enjoyed it. The next year, I got hired on at a Montgomery Bell Academy, an all-boys school in Nashville, Tennessee, and I kind of weaned myself off of it, and then I took a year off, and then I started volunteering at LSU, and so I kind of got off of it, got back on it. But when I did, it was a purposeful decision for me to do it. But I think it's a great way for guys to transition out of the league, because it's hard to go from playing 22 weeks in a row, 23 weeks in a row, to not doing anything. And so to go to a high school level and enjoy a lesser level of competition, but to where you can sow into young men, I think it's a pretty neat way of doing it. Chad Pennington started a high school football program in Lexington, Kentucky, where his 3 boys are now playing. Mark Brunell was a head coach at a private school before he just got hired on as quarterback coach with Dan Campbell. And it's a great opportunity for guys to give back to the game and really to see if this is what you want to do. Because, obviously the higher the level you go into college and even in the pros, it's, the time demands get a little bit more extreme than you did as a football player. But I always commend guys that decide to go back in high school and junior high and give back to the game. I coached junior high, the lower junior high, 5th and 6th graders for 2 years. And I had a blast doing it. It was the funnest thing I've ever done.
Yeah, for those of us that have been involved with youth sports, you'll never have more fun than a 5th grade team. You learn a lot about yourself and your patience when you deal with stuff like that.
This is what I did learn in that process is for guys that played at a high level, Phillip Rivers, myself, Mark Brunell, guys like that, Jason Witten. When you coach young kids, you have to figure out a way to teach them all that you know in a very simple way. And that's not an easy thing to do. Like, things look easy for Jason Witten playing tight end and Mark Brunell and Phillip Rivers, but to teach a 5th grader to throw the out route on his second step, or to teach an offensive lineman in the 5th grade how to skip, pull, and turn around the corner to block a linebacker, if you can communicate to a 5th grader how to do that, you can coach anybody. I mean, and it really is, because you have to simplify the game in a way that makes them understand it, and that's what I did. And so just because you're a great player doesn't mean you can be a great coach, but you'll test yourself by going coaching them younger level guys.
I kind of wish you'd start coaching the offensive line that the Cowboys had this past year with all the different backups. All the great ones were out injured most of the year, and what the Cowboys had out there looked like they needed somebody to teach them on that 5th grade level you just explained.
Well, sometimes it's about the X's and O's, and it's others about the Jimmies and the Joes.
Jimmies and Joes.
Guys that can't do it. Look, everybody thought Tom Brady was washed up and done. It was all about the Patriots way. Well, he proved everybody wrong. It was all about Tom Brady, and one guy can't make a difference. And I think the Patriots found that out, as did BA and the guys down at Tampa. So the Jimmys and Joes got to execute the X's and O's. And so I don't care how great your scheme is. If you don't have the guys to do it, then you're just going to be an average team.
He's Kevin Mawae, one of the greatest to ever do it. All-decade teamer, the 2000s Hall of Famer. Let's talk about coaching an offensive line. Jason just brought up the line and the troubles that you deal with. This is more of on a broader scheme. When you're coaching this ballet that is the 5 guys that are on an offensive line, and injuries occur, when you're talking about tackles or guards having to move to different positions, and this kind of will apply this weekend, maybe considering some COVID tests that might apply. What positions move easier? Is it about the athlete, or do guards go to tackle easier? Do tackles go to guard easier? What's your experience with that?
Well, I think they're not the same position. It's not a plug-and-play position group. There are guys that are specifically tailored to play the offensive tackle position because of their length, their athleticism, there's that kind of thing. And there are guys that are strictly guards because they don't have the body type or they don't have the fluidity or whatever. And lots of times when you have a lesser player, you try to hide them. Like if you have an average guard, you hide them between an all-pro tackle and a great center. And not everybody. The pet peeve I have is just play them at center. Just let them go snap the football. Well, everybody takes for granted the idea of having to snap a football. It's not the easiest thing in the world to do, and not everybody can do it. So there are going to be guys that can move around and play different spots. But typically, if you have your third tackle is going to be the swing tackle and go right or left, or you have an inside-outside swing guy. And the reason why he's the swing guy is because he's not good enough to start at either one of the positions, but he's good enough and serviceable to get through a game or a series at multiple spots. And so it's not just an easy thing to take a natural guard and move him out to tackle. A few years ago, Alan Faneca played guard, and then he had to have him play like 6 or 8 games at the left tackle spot. Not his natural position. He held his own, but it's just not an easy thing to do. And for the layperson to think, I just move him to guard. It's not that easy. Things happen faster at the guard spot. Things fly, things cross your face. And if you're not used to that, it's hard for a tackle just to move down in there and where it's a little bit noisier than being one-on-one at the tackle spot.
Well, and I'm curious, as you're explaining all of that as well, and you look at Kansas City's going to be without a tackle in the Super Bowl, the biggest game of the year. So you're going to have some guy starting that hasn't been there all year. But then the amount of RPO that the Chiefs run, how much more complicated is an RPO play for an offensive lineman?
Well, it's actually pretty good if you're the backside tackle because you're usually reading that defensive end. You're not blocking him. You don't have to worry about it. But, I think about the Kansas City Chiefs. A lot of their RPO, they're all a lot of play action type stuff. So when they do run the play action, you sell the run and you settle on the pass. And so it makes it a little bit easier. But, you got to think between Andy Reid and Bieniemy, they're going to do what they can to protect him if they feel like they need to, whether you have a running back chip, split flow on the action in the backfield to help off the edge and stuff like that. But look, we've all seen Mahomes do his thing. You can send 10 guys on him and not block 8 of them, and he'll still make something happen. And that's what's special about them. But I think I said, was it one of their centers as well tested positive? Or
the backup center.
False positive? Yeah.
In the protocol.
But the hard part is, like, you go in and when you go into the big game as a starting tackle, and the backup's like, okay, I just got to be ready. And then you're like, 72 hours from kickoff, and you're like, oh, crap, I'm going to be starting in the biggest game of my life. And, but next man up. I mean, that's how it works in this business. And you got to be ready to roll when it's time for you to roll.
Kevin Mawae joining us here on the Blitz. For the last 9 Super Bowls, a team of Wounded Warrior amputees has taken on a team of NFL alumni in a flag football game. Sadly, that's not going to happen this year. And, while it's always about the camaraderie, and this is what I want to talk to you right now about, Kevin. You are a military type. There's not a whole lot of people outside of San Antonio or in the military community that have any idea about where Fliegenhorst Army Field might be. But Jason and I do. We've spent some time in Germany. You know, one of the things that I've heard, the thread of conversation, and you brought BJ Ganem with you of Sierra Delta, and we're always glad to talk with BJ, a good friend of the show, is that kinsmanship, that camaraderie that players and coaches have that's been a thread in your life from just about the time you were born. You grow up in the military, you understand what it's like to be a part of a team from the very first time you understand what your daddy does or your mama does, and you kind of carry that with you. And certainly you've been exemplary with that, using that military background to take yourself forward. Tell us about the Wounded Warriors and your experience with those guys.
Yeah, I had being a military brat, my dad's stationed at Fort Polk, Louisiana, was his last duty assignment, and they still live there. And having grown up in a military base and being around military kids and military families, you understand the lifestyle. Fortunately for my dad, for us growing up, it was during peacetime. My dad did serve 2 years, 2 tours in Vietnam, and just recently he started talking about that. So there's that element to it. But watching families have to watch their dads go to the field or go on maneuvers, and then most recently in the last several years, being deployed to Afghanistan, Iraq, and Kuwait, and all these other places, I have an understanding of that. I might not have experienced firsthand. My dad happened to go to war, but I know he did. And so you have you can empathize with them and understand the life that they have to live. I think the most courageous person in a military family is a military wife. She gets left with 3 or 4 kids at the doorstep, and doesn't know if her husband's going to come home. And so to know what that is like, in some sense, as a kid growing up you have a great deal of respect for the military. It's never a time where I see a man in uniform or somebody that has served, I look down upon him, knowing what my dad did for 23 years of his life, and he did it willingly. And so to be with guys like Sergeant Ganem, he doesn't like to be called Sarge because he's not anymore, but I still respect the rank that he served
Always.
But there's a level of respect that goes there because they went there and they did it voluntarily, and some of them came back. Many of them came back different people, both physically and mentally. And so, the Wounded Warriors is one project. I've been involved in fundraising for that when I was a dean at high school, and know what they're all about. And offering things to help Wounded Warriors and getting homes and jobs and help. And then the greatest thing that like Sergeant Ganem works with is Sierra Delta, where they find companion dogs, whether it be trained companions or service animals, things like that. Sometimes you just need a buddy, and that's what being in the military is all about. You have your battle buddies, and in the football, you have your teammates, your locker room buddies, and you don't step on the field without them being by your side. And it's the same thing with the military, and of course, Sarge can talk to you about that more than I can, but these people get behind something like that. The serves our military, serve the people in uniform who have lost a lot and gave up even a whole lot more, and so yeah, I'm excited about being able to promote this, and I'm just kind of a little bummed that we can't play in the flag football game this year.
I know.
I have one play left, and I thought I was going to use it in the flag football game. I'm going to have to use it down the road.
We'll use it down the road. And then BJ Ganem, it looks like you're actually in Tampa Bay with Sierra Delta. And, we've had you on many times talking about Sierra Delta and all the great work that you do. If somebody is listening and has not heard about Sierra Delta, tell us about what you guys are doing and the importance of being on Super Bowl Radio Row.
Well, I tell you right now, it's not the same without Jason and Rob, without you guys here. Like, I almost want to just go home.
Well, you got to find somebody else to pick up the tab later. That's what I'm hearing.
There's nobody here. I think I'm the one picking up the tab. But, it is important for us to be down here. And, we're putting on this dog walk on Saturday morning before Super Bowl. And we're going to just try to bring people together. I mean, I know we all got a social distance, but I think, for me personally, I miss people and I miss being around, especially down in San Antonio. That's a military family. That's a military town. And, we've played there a couple times and we just need that again. And that's what we're trying to do. And it's great to have, a Hall of Famer like Kevin here to help us spread this mission and help us get out there so we can help all vets, whether it's with a companion dog like Kevin talked about or a full-blown service dog. But this is what it takes. It takes getting out here and talking about it. I was lucky enough to have COVID and have a mild reaction to it back in July. So I'm out here, we're being safe, but we wanted to be out here and have the opportunity to talk about what Sierra Delta is doing for all of our vets, and that we miss being out there and being able to play flag football with these guys. But, next year, hopefully LA, you guys will be here picking up the tabs, and we'll be out there playing that flag football game and bringing it back around and bringing a lot of dogs and putting a lot of behind this mission of Sierra Delta and helping all vets and more dogs find their way home together.
He's BJ Ganem. He's a Wounded Warrior Amputee football team member, the Sarge, as Kevin Mawae called him. Yes, you can help. Go to SierraDelta.com. The game isn't going to happen, but the need for the funds is still there. You can help. Go to Sierra.com. You'll see what we're talking about, a companion dog. And as Kevin just said, sometimes you just need a buddy to pull you through, and maybe it's four-legged or two-legged. It doesn't matter. You just got to get through. Hey, it's always a pleasure to catch up with BJ, but, you bring the best guys with you, BJ, when you show up. Kevin Mawae, we appreciate the gold jacket that you bring, man. Congratulations on the football coaching career. It's been a pleasure speaking with you, sir. It's been an honor.
It's been great. Thank you guys so much. And I know you guys are in the Fort Hood, San Antonio area. So if you're a military member there serving, just thank you for your service and all that you do, you and your families, and sacrifices you make for our country. This country wouldn't be what it is without you guys fighting for our freedom and our victory. So thank you guys so much. And fellas, appreciate you guys. And go check it out, SierraDelta.com. See how you can help the veterans and do that. And then, of course, the Wounded Warriors Project is another one. So do what you can to help out. And maybe next year we'll be able to get on that football field again with these guys.
That's right.
Appreciate your time, guys.
In San Antonio,
One more.
Apply to Sierra Delta. We'll help you out. If you're a vet there in San Antonio, I don't care what area you are. You didn't have to serve in combat. You don't have to be broken, man. Come join this community. Be a part of this. We're rebuilding our team. There's 18 million of us, and we're dying off fast. So let's get together and let's all find our way home with a dog.
Appreciate you, gentlemen. It's very enlightening and insightful. You guys take care of yourselves. Stay safe. Yeah, we're in the football game next year in L.A. We'll get back at it. Hey, we come back.
That's right.
There is strange doings at an Atlanta basketball game. We have a new term. Her name is Courtside Karen, and she is a piece of work. We'll talk about it next. Come on. You're on the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com.
If you're having issues at the house with your plumbing, your heating, your AC, you know there is one company to call, and that is Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heating, and AC. 210-651-5899 is the phone number. They are full service, big job, small job, residential or commercial. Their service trucks are fully stocked, and they have all the equipment needed for any job. No commission sales reps. They'll provide estimates and second opinions. A great experienced staff that has earned an A-plus ranking with the Better Business Bureau. And at Quarter Moon, they are green certified. 210-651-5899 or online, quartermoonplumbing.com.
The ESPN San Antonio 10K Payday. This hour's winning word is
goose.
Enter that word now at ESPNSA.com. Another reason it pays to listen to ESPN San Antonio all day, every day.
Great cash, homie.
Joe, after all these years of working together, I think of us as a team.
Okay.
So this year, I've entered us into a rodeo event.
Oh, joy.
Team roping. It's all about partnership, timing, skill. It's perfect.
What are you wearing?
Joel, don't be silly. These are chaps. I found them lying around in the office.
Those are called rugs. And what are you doing with the rope?
Practicing. Step back, my friend.
Folks, just like the rodeo, here at Quarter Moon, we're all about teamwork. From the people in the office who take your call to the technician that comes to your house, we're all focused on fixing your problems fast and getting a perfect score on the first go-around. Nigel, that's not how you rope, and we're inside, so be careful.
I think I might need more practice. Joel, please tell the front office to hold my calls. I'm tied up at the moment.
Quarter Moon Plumbing and AC, 651-5899. That's 651-5899.
License number M13229 TACLA 000743458.
Before we rodeo San Antonio, mosey on over to Dietz Tractor. We're busting out of the chutes early with a stock full of LS tractors. And this is no 8-second ride. Take your time and choose from a field that includes compact and utility tractors at low prices. Excel in your field with LS Tractor, 6-time winner of the EDA Dealer's Choice Award. Backed by a limited 6-year warranty, LS Tractors will give you more standard features and more performance for less money. These are some of the hottest tractors around, and Dietz Tractor wants to sell them to you today at unbelievable prices. Dietz Tractor, where you get more tractor for less.
For the ones who know safety isn't a catchphrase, it's a culture. And the ones who help make sure everyone makes it home safe. for the safety-minded who watch everyone's backs. Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as safety assessments and training to keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This football season, more than any other, we're all reflecting on the wonder years of football and then celebrating the heart of America's favorite sport. We've got a bold snack that'll help rekindle some really great memories. Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds have the bold flavors you crave, like Korean kimchi barbecue, pasilla chili cheese, spicy dill, and more. Get them at HEB because, hey, pigskins and pigskins, they go together. Visit porkrinds.com to see how you can win $5,000 when you celebrate Pork Rind Appreciation Day with Southern Recipe small batch.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Listen to this radio station on the radio.com app. Connect with your favorite radio shows through contests, social media, and podcasts. Create custom alarms with your favorite radio stations, all free with the radio.com app.
It's time for some straight talk. Look, we all drop our phones. It happens. You fumble it, crack it, splash it. Well, Straight Talk Wireless now offers this new Platinum Unlimited plan that includes phone protection. Just $65 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data, plus 20 gigs of hotspot, 100 gigs of cloud storage, and more. All on the best network. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. See Mobile Protect terms and conditions at Asurion.com/Straight Talk. Limitations and exclusions apply.
Fact: you have a lot of choices when it comes to filing your taxes online. But only TaxAct guarantees you'll file for less and get more in return. Sweet. Plus, TaxAct costs 30% less than the big guys. Double sweet. And TaxAct backs your return with a $100,000 accuracy guarantee. Triple sweet. So if you want to file for less and get more, start for free at TaxAct.com. 30% less claim based on comparison of TurboTax and H&R Block federal pricing for deluxe and premier consumer online products on December 4th, 2020. See TaxAct.com for complete details.
Since ESPN San Antonio's Big Game Coverage, brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds and Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds.
Just got kicked out of the game for talking to LeBron James, for talking to your husband. This is such bull. Listen, let me tell you, LeBron James looked at my husband during the game and cussed him out, and I stood up and I go, don't talk to my husband. Talk to my husband one more time and I will you up. And he started fighting with me. He goes, shut your mouth, dumb bitch. And I go, you shut your mouth, bitch.
And she got kicked out. Courtside Karen. Mad.
Courtside Karen. Oh, this is just our day and age all rolled up into one small capsule, isn't it? Yeah, I didn't even know that you could go to an NBA game, much less sit courtside, much less get into a verbal altercation with literally the biggest star in the league to protect your man.
Now, looking at Juliana Carlos's Instagram today, which I had to do for proper show research, I would classify her as Instagram model and one looking for lots of fame out of this. She claims to be 25, and it doesn't look like she has any original parts on that 25-year-old frame of hers. But, I think she is looking to benefit from a altercation with LeBron James. And her dude looks to be about our age, but dresses like he's about 25. So it's that.
We've talked about the just the sound issues when this was all being discussed back last summer. That you're playing in a quiet basketball arena. Kind of the concern was you can hear things. Things are being said on it's much like going to a high school game, and you can't act the same way. That's one thing. I think LeBron would probably take back he probably shouldn't have said anything to a fan. I understand why he did, but this has taken on a life of its own. Karen's 15 minutes are ticking. The Twitter feed for some of the great pictures of her and her dude are impressive to say. I just can't imagine. If I was a billionaire, which evidently her husband is, and I was at a game, I don't know who you, I don't care who you are. You start a fight. Well, let's not talk just with anybody. LeBron James, 6'8", angry LeBron James, and she stood up and I protected my man. You don't need to protect me. You're just you're making things worse. Just sit
but
down.
for her, I think it's getting better. I mean, she's getting likes and follows, and that's her world, man. I think the dude is like, dude, that's LeBron James, and I know I'm somewhat protected. He ain't gonna come kick my ass right here, courtside. And apparently, the video, LeBron apparently said something about him looking like a steroid dude.
He was right.
Or maybe I don't know. You know, whatever was said, but you know, as you said, they're investigating. There's microphones. We will know exactly what will happen. It will be a phenomenal 30 for 30 at some point. Courtside Karen is what LeBron called her.
LeBron James, courtside Karen. What is in the water in Atlanta? What's going on there in Georgia? Those blonde women are crazy. It seems like everybody crazy there. Coming back, let's talk injuries. Dr. Thomas D. Berardino will join us as we look forward to the big game coming up on Sunday. Zebra Technologies' John Pollard will join us as well. Hang around. You're on the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com.
Jason Minix here for BSG, the best in home security and smart home technology. BSG is a great local company built on trust, quality, and safety. They're the best when it comes to home security, camera systems, Wi-Fi systems, home theater, audio and video systems, and so much more. In fact, the security system in my house is from BSG, along with my home theater system. BSG did my surround sound speakers, the outdoor speakers, other smart home technology like the AC thermostat, outdoor lights, garage door opener, and it all works on one app, and it's easy to use. BSG is all about customer service you can't get from a big box store. Every room in every house is different. BSG will design systems that fit your home, and they only sell high-quality items. When investing in your home, you want a company you can trust, a company that has a great reputation. BSG has been in business over 20 years. Go read all their great reviews. In fact, they are trusted by over 100 new home builders. BSG is the best in the industry. Call them 210-877-1222, 877-1222, or go to their website, bsgtexas.com/radio.
Take your romance game to a whole new level this Valentine's with Diamonds Direct's most popular offer ever. 5 years, 0 interest financing on any purchase happening right now. You know jewelry is the perfect gift to celebrate your love. And with this incredible offer, you can afford to go big. Like a $6,000 diamond tennis bracelet, just $100 a month. Or a $3,000 pair of diamond earrings, just $50 a month. Diamonds Direct has teamed up with the world's top jewelry designers for an expanded selection of Valentine's surprises for any budget. Romantic gifts starting as low as $400. Rings, earrings, pendants, bands, colored gemstones. The guaranteed largest selection, highest quality, and always the best value. Whether you shop in store or online at diamondsdirect.com. Make this the most memorable Valentine's ever with 5 years, 0 interest financing on any purchase, including engagement rings. Now through Valentine's Day. Celebrate your love at Diamonds Direct.
At the shops at La Cantera.
If you have come into contact with a person who tested positive for COVID-19, but you are not experiencing symptoms, you can still get tested for no cost at City of San Antonio locations. Hours may vary. Visit covid19.sanantonio.gov or call 311.
The flu vaccine is more important than ever. COVID-19 has brought on many public health challenges. Help prevent the spread of respiratory illnesses like the flu and COVID-19 by getting your flu vaccine. Protect yourself and your loved ones. Visit sanantonio.gov/immunizations.
Wendy's is dropping the hammer with 2 made-to-order breakfast sandwiches for just $4.
So if you've been wronged by pre-made breakfast and their frozen folded eggs and rubbery microwaved bacon,
get to Wendy's and get the breakfast you deserve. Like the honey butter chicken biscuit, classic bacon, egg, and cheese, and the classic sausage, egg, and cheese. Choose any 2 of them for just $4. Justice is served. Only at Wendy's. We got you.
Offer valid for a limited time only. Price and participation may vary at U.S. Wendy's. Single item at regular price.
It's time for some straight talk. Look, we all drop our phones. It happens. You fumble it, crack it, splash it. Well, Straight Talk Wireless now offers this new Platinum Unlimited plan that includes phone protection. Just $65 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data. plus 20 gigs of hotspot, 100 gigs of cloud storage, and more. All on the best network. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. See Mobile Protect terms and conditions at Asurion.com/Straight Talk. Limitations and exclusions apply.
KZDC San Antonio.
Hi, this is Lyle Collins of the Dallas Cowboys, and you're listening to 1250 ESPN San Antonio and 94.5 FM.
Where the pros play. Jason Minix, Rob Thompson, The Blitz.
It is the Blitz here on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM on the go at ESPNSA.com all week long. Your Deets Tractor's big game coverage will continue. You've had lots of great guests earlier. We'll have a lot more coming at you right now. We're talking injuries with Dr. Thomas D. Berardino. It's time for the ESPN San Antonio Injury Update. It's always powered to you by the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics and online at TSAOG.com. Welcome aboard, Dr. Thomas D. Berardino. Dr. D, how's your day going?
Going great. It's been a good Tuesday. Nice winter weekend down here in South Texas, huh?
Well, I know for somebody like you that's used to be in the East, I bet you're glad that you aren't having to shovel snow. In fact, we've talked to a couple this week complaining about back pain from shoveling snow, from Keyshawn Johnson and Ross Tucker, the same thing. We don't have to deal with that. Let's start with Lamarcus Aldridge, late addition to the injury report for tomorrow's game against Minnesota. Lamarcus has been ruled out with a right hip flexor soreness. What does that mean?
He just probably came down hard and kind of stretched his hip flexors, as the muscles right across the front of your hip. So either hyperextended and strained them. He didn't tear anything. They're just being precautionary and appropriate. Just give him some soft tissue rest for some time.
That's the perfect kind of, vague kind of injury that tells me that Lamarcus is just kind of tired and needs a couple of days to actually rest. At least that's how it feels. Dr. D, you've spent time as a team physician working with lots of athletes focused on winning. As seasons end and you're dealing with the team, now's the time to go get the surgeries to clean things up in preparation for the next year if you're a professional athlete or a college athlete. What is the most common right about now as the football season ends? What are the most common kind of nagging injuries that we see athletes going in to get things cleaned up? I've seen ankles, I've seen knees, I've seen some elbows. I'm always amazed to hear the cleanup and the procedure that they were able to put off till after the season. Tell me about the process of getting yourself ready for the next when you're dealing with the cleanup procedures.
So all these cleanup or spring cleaning operations do happen the day after the season's over in a hierarchical format. The quarterbacks go first, the special, the high end players, but they're all lined up ahead of time at the beginning, right before the season's end. We always had a roster of people at every level that were, on Monday morning when we get back off that plane, so-and-so is getting his knee scoped or his ankle scoped, and ahead of time what you're going to do and what you're going to find because they've already been worked up to the hilt with imaging and x-rays and MRIs and CT scans and just evaluations, multiple times a day by the doctors and the trainers involved. So it's a juggernaut of activity the week or two right after anyone's season. You don't ever want a season to end early, but the ones that do get a season to end early have a head start on spring football, if you will, if you're in the high school or college level. So the sooner you get them fixed, the sooner they're ready to go on the far end. And that's the positive side, glass half full side of looking at it.
Well, and again, the amount of injuries that we've seen, like we didn't know Amari Cooper was going to need surgery until he posted that he was recovering nicely from surgery, or, wide receiver from Tennessee had both knees done and was told in week 2 his season was going to be over, and yet he played through all of that, which is also kind of incredible when you think about an injury bad enough to need surgery. A doc says you should shut it down, and he doesn't until after the season.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many variables involved, as you guys know, and we talk about all the time. It's the agents, it's if it's professional, it's a whole different level, the monetary and the longevity issue, and, the odds ratio if you're on the bubble for being traded or a new contract or free agency. All those things become real-time variables that we thankfully don't have to deal with usually at the high school and college level. It's just parents and coaches and teachers. But when you add agents and money, that things can go haywire and things get said that are subtle and understated, and then suddenly someone shows up in a knee brace and you're like, how'd that happen? But very common,
what could be worse, the agent or the mama?
Well, I'm to say this, and I mean it facetiously, but if mama and daddy show up in the same uniform as the child playing baseball, it's trouble.
That kind of, as a coach, that kind of rings true as well, as we are joined by Dr. Thomas D. Berardino. Dr. D joining us here on the Blitz. Looking toward the Super Bowl on Sunday, the offensive line for the Kansas City Chiefs is certainly in flux. We the loss of Fisher to the Achilles injury, which, that's going to be a long process. But Mitchell Schwartz's back continues to be an issue. Is that the most perplexing thing to have to deal with as an orthopod, people when they're dealing with their backs?
Backs make high ankle sprains seem like child's play. Backs, you just never know. They can go south, and then they can get another recurrent injury on top of an injury where you think they're better and you let them go back, and then you take 1 foot forward and you take 2 steps back, rather, 1 step forward, and you think like, gosh, if we just waited 1 more week and kept him out, whatever player it is, in this case him, keep him out 1 more week, let the trainers clear him, and sometimes there's forces at play. Super Bowl is a big force, but he's probably out. I don't. Well, definitely the guy with the Achilles tear is out, and then Schwartz with his back. I guess what the latest is.
Andy Reid said he wasn't optimistic.
Yeah. It doesn't look good, as it were, Dr. D, as he is going to be out. And while we're sticking with the game, we saw Pat Mahomes limping around there a couple of weeks with a bad toe. He exited due to a head injury, but quite frankly, we were more concerned about the other side of the body. With the toes improvement, it looks like that won't be a concern. But when you hear injured big toe and you hear about a guy who is a running type, what's your primary concern? And is there any worry about it being re-injured if you don't have it braced right?
You hope it's just a contusion, so he came down hard or he got stepped on, and those usually resolve. It's a soft tissue injury. There's no fracture. Those little tiny bones under your big toe called the sesamoids, they can be small but onerous. They're about the size of a frozen pea, but if you come down hard on your extended foot, like you come down with your toes extended and you get a defensive tackle on top of you, that's a lot of weight coming down. Even if something doesn't break, you can really strain the ligaments and the soft tissue on the bottom of your foot. And that hurts because you feel that every time you take a step. So I'm sure they're milking him along, and I'm certain he's going to be close to 100% for the game.
Yeah, and he probably won't feel a thing on that foot when the game does roll around. Now, for those of us that aren't NFL athletes, that maybe you've started a walking program and you're in a little bit of pain. You feel like if you move just right, your hamstring would explode. What kind of recommendations do you have for people now that it's been nicer during the day, if they try to get out and try to walk, maybe get themselves in ski shape, and they're in a lot of pain? What kind of things should that person do to relieve themselves of some of the pain, other than just sitting down and stopping?
Yeah, we don't want them being on the couch because things double down and they get worse. So we tell them to titrate and dial it back. It's kind of like a rheostat or a dimmer switch. Don't stop walking because walking is so good for your heart and lungs, but dial it back. If people are getting ready for a spring break ski vacation because it's finally skiing or snowing in the Rockies, they want to get out there and walk 1 mile today, 5 miles the next day, 10 miles. It's that rapidity or acceleration. They need to slowly ramp up, and if they injure themselves, they need to dial it back a little bit. They don't need to stop necessarily. They just need to dial it back and take some anti-inflammatories and rest a little more, and definitely stretch. It's underrated, the stretching part. I think it's important to stretch out tissues that are stiff and brittle. It makes sense to stretch before and after.
And stop whining so much.
Yeah,
right?
Stop whining.
Stop whining.
The word.
Yeah, I'm talking about Rob.
Yeah, that was me.
There's a pill.
My hamstrings right now are as tight as a C string on a piano, man. Those things are twing. One wrong move, I'm going down. I look like I've been sniped. He is Dr. Thomas D. Berardino. And here are the words of the day. Titrate. That's a new one. And then my favorite today, Doc. Small but onerous sesamoids. in your feet. I think I have a lot of those
Sesamoids.
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 Small but onerous sesamoids. I am infested with them. Dr. D, man, we thank you for all the insight as we head into a Super Bowl week. Stay safe. We look forward to talking to you soon.
Enjoy the game. See you guys.
You bet. This has been the ESPN San Antonio Injury Update. It's always powered by the Sports Institute over at TSAOG Orthopedics. Go online to check them out at TSAOG.com. Coming back, we are just a couple of days away from the big game. We're talking about the injuries. Let's talk about what we expect to see on the field and look around at the rest of the NFL. The Deshaun Watson saga continues. Hang around tight. NFL talk coming your direction here on the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com.
Jason Minix here for New Brakes, nubrakes.com. They're a mobile brake shop. They will come to you to fix your brakes. So if your brakes are bad or you think they are going bad, go to nubrakes.com, schedule your appointment. Do it for you, do it for all of us. Get those brakes fixed. New Brakes has made getting your brakes repaired easy, convenient, and affordable because they will come to you. Your home, your office, wherever you are. Their certified brake techs are going to come fix your brakes while you continue to do whatever it is you do in your daily routine. If you're working from home, they can be outside fixing your brakes and you're on your Zoom call or making your sales calls, whatever it is you're doing. You could be watching the game. Baylor leading Texas right now 17-10. You could know that while getting your brakes fixed at the exact same time. And they only fix brakes. Most repairs are done in less than an hour. New Brakes uses premium brake parts and back all repairs with a 24-month, 24,000-mile warranty. Go read all their 5-star reviews and schedule your repair at nubrakes.com. Save 10% when you mention my name or ESPN San Antonio. Nubrakes.com. That's nubrakes.com.
Sundays are for the grill. The Sunday Sports Grill, 11 in the morning to 1. Chop it up and grill with former and current Rock the Mic champs Michael Jimenez and Quinn Hudson. The Sunday Sports Grill, 11 to 1 every Sunday.
Time is running out on your chance to enter the Rocket Mortgage Super Bowl Squares sweepstakes. It's the largest official game of Super Bowl Squares ever with millions of dollars in prizes. And best of all, it's free to enter. Someone wins $50,000. Every score changed during Super Bowl 55. Touchdowns, field goals, safeties, extra points, even a pick six is a winner. Each time we pick a lucky winner from the square, they win 50 G's. Plus, 2 grand prize winners will win $500,000 they could use toward their dream home. Don't miss your chance to win. See rules and enter for free right now at RocketMortgageSquares.com. Then tune in on February 7th to see if you bring home some dough. Rocket Mortgage, official mortgage sponsor of Super Bowl 55.
No purchase necessary. Legal residents of the 50 U.S. and D.C. of age of majority. Ends 2/4/2021, 11:59 p.m. Eastern. Equal housing lender license in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030. The NFL entities as defined in the official rules have not offered to sponsor this promotion in any way.
If your water tastes bad or has an odd smell, you need to call Alamo Water Softeners because in San Antonio, we have some of the hardest water in the country. When you call Alamo Water Softeners, they'll come to your home, give you a free estimate, and test your water. Right now, save $300 on select water care water softeners from Alamo Water Softeners, the best value for the highest quality water treatment. Go to AlamoWaterSofteners.com and discover the Alamo Water Softeners difference. That's AlamoWaterSofteners.com.
America's Diamond offers our 5-year, 60-month financing program every day of the year. You don't have to wait for a sale to get 5-year financing with credit approval, or wait for a sale to get our guaranteed America's Diamond price, because we treat everyone fairly and with respect every day of the year. For almost 40 years, we have designed and created our extraordinary diamond jewelry right here in San Antonio. When you buy at America's Diamond, your money stays in San Antonio. Our whole company is located here and locally owned. Our kids and grandkids go to school here. All 40 of our coworkers live and shop in San Antonio for everything. Through the years, America's Diamond has supported thousands of wonderful charity events in San Antonio. We're the official jeweler of the San Antonio Spurs and of the University of Texas at San Antonio Athletics. See our television program about diamonds and jewelry tonight on ABC KSAT 12 at 12:35 a.m. or see it right now at americasdiamond.com.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
As a minimalist, paying less for insurance is more.
Nice place. Is your house a bubble?
It's a dome. I find corners unnecessary.
At Liberty Mutual, that's how we feel about overpaying for insurance.
But I do miss having shelves.
What would you put on them?
Nothing, obviously.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Is the cost of finishing the basement worth the benefit of some peace and quiet? When questions find you, Merrill Edge Self-Directed Investing can help you find answers with personalized planning tools and insights to help you get where you want to go, even if it's just downstairs. Merrill, a Bank of America company. Visit merrilledge.com/withinreach to get started today.
Investing involves risk. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated. Registered broker-dealer, member SIPC. Investment products are not FDIC insured or not bank guaranteed and may lose value.
Dietz Tractors presents ESPN San Antonio's Big Game Coverage. Brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds and Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds.
It is the Blitz. You're on ESPN San Antonio. He's Jason Minix. I'm Rob Thompson. Blitz brought to you by the Thompson Law Firm. The number is 210-900-0400. Jason Thompson, his website at lawyerforus.com. If you're dealing with insurance companies, if you've been in an auto collision, you need to call Jason Thompson as soon as possible. He'll get to work for you, knowing full well that your consultation is always free, and he will go to work getting the maximum amount by law from those that need to pay up for your pain and suffering and injury. The Super Bowl number LV is just around the corner. It is Sunday afternoon. It looks, Jason, we've had Doug Kazarian on, and we've talked with a gentleman from betonline.ag and talked about the prop bets, and the line is sticking at 3, it appears, according to Doug Kazarian. And by the way, if you missed any of our big game coverage brought to you by Dietz Tractor, go to our audio vault there by AA Best Bail Bonds. You can catch up with what Doug had to say. You don't see the line moving much off 3 points. I can't imagine that it sticks where it is. Well, it's going to stay where it is, but when have you ever seen a Super Bowl team come in minus both of their tackles and still be considered inside of a touchdown, under 3-point underdog without any more penalty than that? It seems almost ridiculous to me that you can get there.
It's the weapons and the speed that Kansas City has, because if you take away Kelsey, Hill can beat you. Watkins is right. Coming back, and Mahomes is that dynamic. And their defense is playing better than I think most people give them credit for. I can promise you they're not going to let Scotty Miller get behind them with 4 seconds left in the first half for an easy, cheap touchdown. But that said, I'm surprised it's at 3, not at 3.5, not at 2.5, but right at 3. So you're looking at the potential push. The number that surprises me is 56. That seems like a pretty low over-under for a team like the Chiefs that can score a lot of points. I mean, you're looking at the game kind of in the high 20s for both teams. A 31-28 kind of game. I think Kansas City's got the ability to get 40. I thought that number would be closer to 65, 68, something like that. It just seems like Vegas is saying, yeah, people bet the over. And then, of course, it'd be 17-10.
I find it very interesting that, the Super Bowl that's when wagering became acceptable. We always kind of heard rumors about it, but when you were growing up, you didn't go to a party without having the box there that you could buy into, and everybody had a little bit of money on it. We had Doug Kazarian on earlier. I find it so interesting that Super Bowl betting is expected to decrease by 37% off of last year due to the pandemic. And I understand, the economy is down, money is short, but we have more access and more ability to gamble than we have ever had before. You have more information coming at you from a variety of different ways. I thought despite all of that, things would at least remain equal. To see a little dip in that, I wonder how much concern there is other than it's just COVID. The economy will come back. The gamblers will return, and that money will flow, because if gambling's down, all the money that the NFL expects to take in, they're going to have to reassess what they could be coming at here in the next couple of years when gambling becomes more and more part of what the NFL is and does.
Now, is that 37% number that you read just in legalized books in the United States, like Vegas and New Jersey and those places, or does that account for the offshore books? Because, it never accounts for, what's happening with your local bookie or what you're doing inside of, with your friends, making your different side bets. But, the travel to Vegas is going to be way down. Most sports books are at 25% in Vegas. So if you were planning a trip there, most people aren't. But if you are going, they're only going to be at 25%. So is that worth going? Because as Doug said, I mean, you do have busy casinos in Las Vegas right now, but your typical, guys' weekend pilgrimage to watch the Super Bowl, a lot of those trips are getting canceled, and there's a lot of money there, not only just on betting the game itself, but on all the prop bets. I just wonder if that 37% accounts for the offshore stuff as well.
Well, the online stuff, the expectation is, it's going to skyrocket. They expect it to increase dramatically. Research showed that a record 7.6 million Americans potentially placing wagers on mobile betting apps this year, 63% rise over last year. So I think the money is still there. It's just not arriving in Vegas. I think we have other avenues that we can deal with on a more regular basis. And we're not talking about the big money bets that you drop at a book, but the 5 and 10s that you do during game and prior to. You see that number and you think they're not including that. They're not so much, but that's being used. And we're not even talking about the casual stuff, the squares that everybody does.
Well, that's it. You got the squares, and then you got the little games that might come in as this trying to event. There's all kinds of ways to bet on the Super Bowl.
We're about to be joined.
Make some money.
Go ahead. Yeah,
and
go make some money. John Pollard will help you do that. He's from Zebra Technologies. And, when you hear Kazarian talk about, Tom Brady never throws for more than 14 yards downfield, gets a lot of yak or something to that. This is the things that John Pollard comes up with. Zebra Technologies is where he works, and the numbers he comes up with are astounding. If you're a true student of the game and you want to talk analytics, this is where it all began. John Pollard's going to join us next as we look toward the big game, and he'll throw you some numbers that might actually surprise you. This is always a great conversation. We have him every year. You're going to learn something coming up with John. Hold on tight. We'll talk with him next here on the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com. You wake up this morning, how'd you feel? Or you dealing with what I used to deal with when I was way overweight, and the list just keeps going on. You probably woke up this morning maybe with a little bit of sore throat and maybe a little bit of dry mouth because you snored all night long because you're a little bit overweight. And because you snored all night long, you didn't probably get a whole lot of sleep, so you're going to deal with that brain fog and that difficulty getting moving. So you have to rely on the stimulus, the coffee, to kind of get you moving. And as you get going, your heart rate kind of flutters a little bit and you get a little bit hungry. So you eat something that's bad for you and it just compounds. If you're overweight, its effect on your body and your attitude is utterly remarkable. I learned so much when I met Dr. Jacob Torres there at the Institute for Functional Health. I met a physician who was passionate about getting me healthy. I've never met a doctor so eager to get me off medication. But that's what he does. Obesity leads to so many other things, and there can be so many underlying causes for your obesity. Many times it's not your fault. You're dealing with things like Hashimoto's and others that won't allow you to lose weight the way that other people do. And that's why the IFH is so important, because they put together programs specifically and only for you. Your biology, your history, all plays a role in how you're going to lose weight. And Dr. Torres and all that work with him understand that. Know that going in. No diet can work for you unless it is made for you, and that's what they do. Well, I'm, nearly 40 pounds down, waist size smaller, a year and a half into it, and I literally have changed my life, and I want that for you. Understand what food can be for you and will do against you. Meet Dr. Torres and understand there's a program out there that will be put together only for you, and you will lose weight. It happens, and it really isn't all that difficult if you apply yourself. It's not the easiest thing you'll ever do. It's absolutely the best thing you'll ever do. I can tell you about it from my end as one that has lost weight. I want you to meet Dr. Torres and understand what he does to help you lose weight. And it's a free consultation. Just give him a call and talk with him. Learn what I know. 210-468-1891. He'll meet with you any way you feel comfortable. I recommend going down there. They're following all the protocols. These are medical professionals that understand the health and safety things and make sure that you're taken care of. But get to know the people and find out that they can put together a specific program that will help you lose weight. Everybody's different. You're not like anyone else, and that's why one size fits all. A fad diet or a weight loss kind of, program that isn't made for you will not last. Your body, your genetics, your condition is not like everyone else. Get on a program that is reflective of that. Call Dr. Torres. Start with the Institute for Functional Health. You will feel better. You'll look good in fashionable clothes. It's the best thing I've ever done. I want that for you. You call the IFH, meet Dr. Torres, and then 6 months from now, I'll meet a new and skinnier you. It's the best thing I've ever done. I want that for you. You get started. I'm sure you'll thank me later.
Show us your meat. On the grill. Take a picture and upload it to ESPNSA.com, and you could win a $50 gift card from Tri-County Meat Market if you do. Grilling with the Blitz every Thursday.
Sports Center is brought to you by Kielbasa Slow Crafted Sausage, available at your local grocery stores.
Before we rodeo San Antonio, mosey on over to Dietz Tractor. We're busting out of the chutes early with a stock full of LS tractors. And this is no 8-second ride. Take your time and choose from a field that includes compact and utility tractors at low prices. Excel in your field with LS Tractor, 6-time winner of the EDA Dealer's Choice Award. Backed by a limited 6-year warranty, LS Tractors will give you more standard features and more performance for less money. These are some of the hottest tractors around, and Dietz Tractor wants to sell them to you today at unbelievable prices. Dietz Tractor, where you get more tractor for less.
Well, Joel, it's my favorite time of the year.
Half off at the Short and Ugly store?
No, and that hurt. It's rodeo time, and I've got the best quarter moon marketing idea ever.
Here we go again.
It's all about branding, so I've got this. It's called a branding iron.
Nigel, have you lost your mind? Do you even know how a branding iron works?
Well, sort of.
Folks, you don't need a branding iron to remember Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat, and AC. Just remember our phone number, 651-5899. When your home's AC or heater gets sick like Nigel on a rodeo merry-go-round, give us a call. We can set up a maintenance plan that won't leave you burned. Quarter Moon has the expertise, local talent, and fast, reliable service.
So how does the branding iron work?
Well, are those new pants?
Yes. Why?
Turn around.
Turn around my...
License number M13229 TACLA 000743445E.
Buying some pretzel sticks?
Excuse me?
This is your wake-up call from TracFone Wireless.
Okay.
What if you didn't eat all those pretzel sticks by the end of the month, so this store took them back?
Good luck.
That's how some wireless companies are with your data, but TracFone Wireless gives you unlimited carryover data with active service, so you keep what you pay for. Plans start at $20 a month.
Wow, that's cool.
Sir, are you bothering the customers?
Yeah, hang on. This is your wake-up call, people. TracFone Wireless. Now you're in control. Available at major retailers. See terms and conditions at TracFone.com.
For the ones finding new ways to ensure the job always gets done. For the ones wearing many hats. For the ones who are hands-on, even from far away. And the ones keeping business moving forward. We are Grainger, offering supplies and solutions for every industry, with 24/7 support and experienced staff at over 250 local branches. Call clickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Northeast Independent School District is now hiring and training school bus drivers. Whether you're looking for a new job, you're a retiree, or you're retired military, come help drive students to succeed and apply at Northeast ISD Transportation today. No experience is necessary, and you will get paid while earning your CDL and learning how to drive a school bus. The Northeast ISD Transportation Department is ranked as one of the top 100 school bus fleets in America, and our drivers receive exceptional pay and benefits, including health, dental, vision, and retirement. If you're looking for work, if you're retired from the military, or you simply want to make a difference in our community, apply now with the Northeast ISD Transportation Department. Join our team and discover Northeast ISD by calling 210-356-9229. That's 210-356-9229. Or you can text Drive Bus to 797979. That's text Drive Bus to 797979.
It's the Blitz. You're on ESPN San Antonio. Don't mind the brake lights. We'll get you all the way home. He's Jason Minix. I'm Rob Thompson. I'd like to welcome on the show a guest that we have the most fun with. John Pollard of Zebra Technologies is joining us. John, welcome on. You know, the NFL Next Gen stats, there is truth in numbers. There are things that can be found in the numbers that explain some things, and sometimes they can be a bit confusing. The analytics of football. I'd like to welcome on John. Thanks for taking some time out today. We're excited to talk to you.
Hey, Rob. Hey, Jason. Great to be with you guys again.
I appreciate the time. We'll get to the Super Bowl, but with all the Deshaun Watson demanding a trade, other than the obvious, the naked eye, why would the Texans bow to his request for a trade? But it's the NFL, and he's got that kind of power. So what I asked you guys when we were setting this up, do you have some numbers to back the greatness that is Deshaun Watson when you're trying to create value in a trade? And some of the numbers that you said, you can explain this, but tied for third highest air yards completion, second longest completed air distance pass, fifth most pass yards via the run pass option, second most completed air yards this season, and the highest completion percentage above expectation. For a team that won 4 games, those are pretty impressive numbers.
That's a pretty good quarterback profile you just read. That's exactly right. And clearly, as you guys said, the numbers do tell a story, and the naked eye also gives us some good observations ourselves. But the numbers accentuate the capabilities of a quarterback like Deshaun Watson, and and you have the types of receivers that you have in Houston, like with Will Fuller, of course, and Brandon Cooks and Randall Cobb, and also Jordan Atkins as well. I mean, you have some great receivers who can get downfield, so that certainly helps the quarterback drive the ball down the field with confidence. But what's really interesting too, as you mentioned, he's on the run pass option where it creates a lot of tension on defense. Deshaun is obviously a run threat at all times, and so he takes advantage of those defenses that tend to bite on the potential of his running, and produces a lot of yards with 519 yards. I think from my interactions with teams, without being overly disclosing, I think you mentioned the statistic that the Next Gen Stats tracks, which is the pass completion above expectation. And through a combination of the quarterback, whether they're moving or not, or whether they're still in the pocket or rolling out, the distance down the field of the pass, and the proximity of defensive backs or linebackers in coverage around the intended receiver, there's a calculation that allows you to say, okay, well, we thought he could complete X amount of percentage, and he actually completes higher than that. And, with Deshaun completing almost 5% above expectation, that really suggests a couple of things. First, his ability to throw his receivers open, and obviously his athleticism and throwing capabilities in terms of accuracy. And when you couple the accuracy with how far he's driving the ball down the field based on his air yard metrics, I mean, you really have a special player, obviously, and I know the Texans fans know that.
Well, for the time being, anyway, as John Pollard joins us with Zebra Technologies, and the numbers, we certainly see the eye content, the eye candy. We know what we see, but when you dig into the numbers and you see something that proportionate, and certainly those numbers can be used in a lot of different ways. How do you quantify what we saw, the value that he offers that team? And can you see sometimes that maybe guys like this are doing too much to the detriment of their team? I'm not saying that Deshaun was doing that, but it just seems the numbers are so remarkable and the output so small, they don't seem to jive.
Well, it's an interesting thing, and I can't say that I watched every single Texans game or played this past season. But just in general, in some dialogue and maybe a bit of a wallflower, if I may, listening to the professional scouts and evaluators and coaches specifically about Deshaun. But I think it becomes, it's a team sport, as we know. And, if the opposing defensive units know that Deshaun's got a tendency, and they do, they have access to these numbers, that has a tendency to drive the ball down the field under certain situations, and the types of receivers that you have, and certainly Brandon and Will Fuller, the types of routes that they're going to run, they can plan for that. So if the defense is schooled up and coached well, and they're all healthy, they certainly can try to, narrow the potential, or at least make the offense, very limited in what they do. At least they anticipate what's going on. So I think you have this type of information, and we enjoy them as fans. There's even a greater library of more detailed information that the teams have access through the league. They get that directly, and they marry the data that we're talking about to actual game video. So now you're really dimensionalizing the ability to study game video by putting all of this information on top of context. So I think you're seeing the ability of the defenses to be coached up and schooled on a lot of these tendencies. And then they try to make the offense one-dimensional. And I think, too, the running game in Houston, too, if you can offset a little bit with the running game, it takes a little bit of the pressure off the quarterback trying to do too much by themselves.
John Pollard from Zebra Technologies with us here on ESPN San Antonio. Let's talk about the Cowboys. Zeke Elliott had a off year for Zeke Elliott, but, Dak wasn't there most of the year. The offensive line was in shambles. And, you think about the bad offensive line, and I look at the numbers. He's kind of middle of the pack when facing a stacked box at 22.95%. And plus 16 rush yards over expectations. That's on the lower end of running backs, according to the numbers that you provided. Is that saying that Zeke, who had a bad year, is losing a step, or is it more of a product of the offensive line that was blocking for him and maybe the way the defenses were playing it factored into him having a subpar season?
I actually think it's the latter. I think it's a bit of the offensive line challenges the Cowboys faced this past season, and then the defensive scheme as well. Because when you look at the plus 16 rushing yards over expectation, yes, that was a lower end of running backs, but on the other side of things, Zeke was at 8th best in the league this past season with 521 yards gained after contact. And so we're all used to seeing Zeke, break tackles and extend plays with his strength and evasiveness as well as pure athleticism. So he had 8th best. So I would say to Cowboys fans, have faith. 21 still has plenty of gas in the tank, I believe. If you look at these numbers, and if you can get the offensive line woes, taken care of in the next season, and then of course, the Cowboys have faced a real challenge this year with the injuries that affect them, certainly with Dak and also with Andy as well. So there's a lot of churn, but they started to get it towards the end of the season. So I think there's still promise, and I definitely think Zeke has a lot left in the tank to give to the Cowboys.
Interesting. John Pollard of Zebra Technologies joining us here on the Blitz. Your big game coverage continues, brought to you by Dietz Tractor. Now, when you look at those kind of numbers that you're pulling out, and we saw what the Cowboys did, and you throw the numbers out, and you say, this is what happens when you do certain things. When you look at the numbers for the Super Bowl, does anything jump out at you specifically when you looked at what the Chiefs did or what the Buccaneers did offensively that you go, that's either astounding to me, that's going to play a role in the game, or it was an abhorrent number that didn't quite make sense?
Well, I'll tell you, there's a couple of things at the most fundamental level, just the speed factor. Of course, Kansas City Chiefs, everybody's aware how athletic they are as a team and how many at the skill positions, how much speed they have. Just in the postseason alone, McCole Hardman, for instance, has logged the first and 7th best highest speed in terms of, so the highest speed run by any player in the playoffs was 21.52 miles an hour from McCole Hardman. And then, of course, Tyreek Hill, a perennial in terms of top end speed, he's recorded the 3rd fastest speed during the playoffs. Now, on the Tampa Bay side, Scott Miller, actually, that touchdown he scored just before the half against Green Bay, it was the 6th fastest speed recorded during the playoffs. So Tampa Bay's got some speed, at the receiver position as well. So speed, I think in general, we're going to see a lot of the, a lot of that play into the game on Sunday. But some key areas that really jumped out at me as I dug into it, I found really interesting. First, let's talk about Kansas City's receivers and Tampa Bay's linebackers and defensive backs. In the yards after catch category, Kansas City's offense ranks 7th best in terms of yards after catch as a percentage of their total offense. 52% of their total offensive yards are after catch, which was 7th best in the league. Travis Kelce ranked 1st in the league with total yards after catch, and Tyreek Hill for the season ranked 3rd best in total yards after catch. McCole Hardman ranked 2nd in average yards after catch per reception at 7.8 yards per reception. Now, so that's, we understand athleticism, speed. The Chiefs can extend plays once they get the ball, once Patrick gets the ball into his receivers. But Tampa Bay's defense ranks 4th best in yards after catch allowed per reception and 4th best in yards after catch allowed over expectation. They limited the whole season. They limited opposing teams to a total of 102 yards above expectation, which is pretty remarkable. So that's a strength versus strength that you may not see to a traditional box score assessment. I think that'll be interesting to see how Tampa Bay's linebackers in particular and their defensive backs tackle and can they keep plays short. And if I may, another category that jumped out to me on the Tampa Bay offensive side versus Kansas City's rush defense, Ronald Jones, Tampa Bay's offense ranks 7th best in rushing yards over expectation as an offense during the regular season. And Ronald Jones was 6th best in yards per carry and 3rd best in rushing yards over expectation and 3rd best in yards gained after contact. And then Kansas City's defense actually ranks 11th best, not too bad, but not in the top 10 in yards per carry allowed, and they were 12th best in yards per carry gained above expectation. So middle of the road, or kind of that top third of the league, but outside of the top 10. So if Tampa Bay can get the run game going and extend plays on the ground, that may open up opportunities for Tom Brady and the skilled players down the field.
And John, you mentioned Ronald Jones' number, and I mean, Leonard Fournette's been kind of up and down this season, at least, for those just watching the game and not looking at the numbers. But against Green Bay, he looked like LSU Leonard Fournette, and if he can do that in the Super Bowl, that run game for Tampa Bay is going to be really, really powerful. Now, out of curiosity, with your numbers, and since Tampa Bay is the first team to play in their home stadium for a Super Bowl, was there anything in the numbers of how well the Bucs offense performed at that stadium versus on the road?
Well, you can certainly filter the numbers per, not only by stadium, but day or night, weather conditions, grass versus turf, indoor versus outdoor, but nothing that's actually gone through an analysis that stood out, predominantly in that stadium. I will want to go back to the Leonard Fournette comment for a moment. That long run he had against Green Bay, that was 17 rush yards over expectation, as we saw in that 20-yard touchdown run that he had. And that play actually had a 0.4% probability for a touchdown play to suggest how great that run was by Leonard. So if we see more of that on Sunday, that could certainly set up Tampa Bay's offense for some success as well. But again, on the details in the stadium itself, I haven't dove into those numbers.
There's not few that he hasn't. John Pollard of Zebra Technologies joining us.
I feel like I've won something because I stumped them.
No kidding. They're coming from the Zebra Technologies. I find it remarkable that strength versus strength, that really is going to play into the game. The yards after catch or after rush are going to play into that Tampa defense. And I mentioned to Jason earlier, in all the numbers that you've seen and that you've worked, have you ever seen a team that appears to be minus its 2 tackles coming into a Super Bowl game and still only not favored by less than 3 points?
Well, I think that just is a testimony to, Andy Reid, Eric Bieniemy, the entire coaching staff of the Chiefs,
right?
Patrick Mahomes, certainly, and all the players. It's really incredible. When Patrick's on the run, of course, he's effective, and actually some of the blitz numbers are interesting when we talk about putting pressure. So we would expect with the injury at the offensive line that Tampa Bay is going to try to blitz, and actually Tampa Bay was 6th highest in their blitz percentage throughout the entire season. But when you Patrick Mahomes, his completion percentage is second best at 60.4%. That's actually a couple of points higher than his completion percentage during non-blitz situations. Also, Patrick's yards per attempt when he's blitzed is 9.5 yards down the field, which was first. So that was the highest amount of yards downfield when he's blitzed. So if you're going to blitz, you better get home, or the Chiefs and their offense are going to hurt you.
So what do the numbers say as far as who's going to end up hoisting the trophy on Sunday night?
I've had a couple of interviews over this week so far, guys. I'm going to stay neutral.
Come on.
And well, I'll say this. One thing, if I may, on the next stats piece, one of the new, as you guys know, we've talked about before, each season the NFL opens up the catalog of next stats that they share with us in the media and as fans as well. And one of the new categories this year was the route recognition or route type that you could actually search by. And it was interesting to look at, Brady's vertical. Brady throws vertical routes 6% more than Mahomes. His go routes are about 5% more than Mahomes. But Mahomes throws 7% more hitches and almost 5% more crossing routes. So again, that's getting the ball out to his skill players to extend the play. I just have to say that if Tampa's defense is able to do, I guess I'll stop waffling and get to the point. I just have this feeling that Tampa's defense might be able, that strength versus strength and shortening the play. If they can stay in that first half and really assert themselves, physically, both on the offensive side, running the ball, and then if they can shorten those plays, I have, playing at home, the team seems to be on another swing. Not to say Kansas City doesn't have everything going for it as well. I think it's going to be really close, but geez, I'd probably have to lean towards Tampa Bay by a field goal.
Absolutely interesting. As the line lays 3-point, he is John Pollard of Zebra Technologies. Those NFL Next Gen stats, that's how they're generated. John, that was remarkably interesting. The truth can be found in those numbers. I'm curious, and this is just kind of a silly question. Is there a universal string theory kind of formula that you could come up with that will, give you an answer to just about any question you have regarding the stats?
I would say no. There isn't. You still have to filter the information. I think what we're doing now is we're able to quantify a lot of things in game activities that used to be more of based on the subjective point of view. And you still have the experts in the coaching staffs and the scouting staffs. They're experts in the game of football. I think just the numbers, automating the collection of the information and the information that we provide them, hopefully just provides them another rich resource or reference material that validates what they're doing or points them in a certain direction as they're researching player development or game planning. But I don't think, numbers aren't a silver bullet. I think it's just, if I may, a really high-end ingredient that can be very useful when applied appropriately.
Absolutely interesting stuff. John, thanks for stopping by, man. You are always a very interesting interview. John Pollard of Zebra Technologies right here on ESPN San Antonio. Your big game coverage continues. AA Best Bail Bonds and Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds brings it to you. We'll talk more about the big game. Thanks for stopping by, John. You guys are on the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com.
If you need your logo on gear, you need masks, you need to get into Sammy's Embroidery Club over there on San Pedro. If you're a business owner, a manager, a club leader, you need your logo on shirts, on jackets, on caps, on beanies, hoodies, half zips, bags, it doesn't matter. Sam can put a logo anywhere you need it to go. He has over 700 uniform lines to choose from. Medical, restaurant, service industry, construction. Sammy has it. Nobody has better prices, and he has all the big name brands and is the only company in Texas with one-day turnaround. No order too small, certainly no order too big. Now, if you're in charge of ordering uniforms for your leagues, whether it's Little League Soccer or baseball, softball coming up, maybe beer league softball as those get started again, get your uniforms done locally. Get them done at Sammy's Embroidery Club. He is the best at it. If you're done it before ordering from overseas, shipping delays, don't risk it. Sammy's Embroidery Club there on San Pedro. It's got that massive showroom. It's about a mile inside Loop 410 next to Big Lots across from McDonald's, or you can go to the website, samsembroidery.com. Better yet, call Sammy. He's the owner, and he's by his phone right now waiting on you. 210-824-3900 is the phone number. 824-3900 for Sammy's Embroidery Club.
The ESPN San Antonio 10K Payday. This hour's winning word is dance. Enter that word now at ESPNSA.com. Another reason it pays to listen to ESPN San Antonio all day, every day.
Great cash, homie. Did you know just the simple act of dressing for work can make you more productive? According to a recent study by the Wall Street Journal, getting dressed for work each morning can even improve your performance. Untucked shirts are the easy way to look sharp instantly, and they're designed to be worn untucked so you'll stay comfortable all day long. So for your next Zoom call, lose the t-shirt and grab an untucked shirt instead. It'll also be your go-to when we start returning to all the things we've been missing. Try one today at any Untucked store or at untucked.com. Untucked shirts, designed to be worn untucked.
Liberty. Liberty Mutual Insurance Company customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Well, as the world's blandest man, the idea of insurance made for me is almost riveting.
Big fan of beige?
I find other neutrals too unpredictable.
That's cool. Liberty Mutual's just here to protect your home with customized insurance.
And here we've got my doorstop collection.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Hello?
Hi, I'm calling on behalf of the Mice Nest.
Mice Nest?
Yes, Mice Nest. It's a nest of mice. They finished chewing through your RV wiring, so the fire should start soon.
Can we cancel that?
Oh, sorry. Once scheduled, they can't really stop because they're mice. A nest of them.
RV owners can't schedule when things go wrong on the road. That's why there's Progressive, a leader in RV insurance.
Oh, and if you could stay on the line for a quick survey.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Without more licensed workers, Gary's roofing business might hit its ceiling.
Hey, that new contract just got pushed up. We are going to need all hands on deck to make this happen.
Hey, Gary, you booked me on that other job next week.
It's time to hire.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. The moment you sponsor a job on Indeed, you get a short list of quality candidates from our resume database. Indeed delivers 2.5 times more hires than the other branded job sites combined, according to Breezy HR 2019. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get a $75 credit for your first job post. Terms and conditions apply.
Take your romance game to a whole new level this Valentine's with Diamonds Direct's most popular offer ever. 5 years, 0 interest financing on any purchase happening right now. You know jewelry is the perfect gift to celebrate your love. And with this incredible offer, you can afford to go big. Like a $6,000 diamond tennis bracelet, just $100 a month. Or a $3,000 pair of diamond earrings, just $50 a month. Diamonds Direct has teamed up with the world's top jewelry designers for an expanded selection of Valentine's surprises for any budget. Romantic gifts starting as low as $400. Rings, earrings, pendants, bands, colored gemstones. The guaranteed largest selection, highest quality, and always the best value. Whether you shop in store or online at diamondsdirect.com. Make this the most memorable Valentine's ever with 5 years, 0 interest financing on any purchase, including engagement rings. Now through Valentine's Day. Celebrate your love at Diamonds Direct.
At the shops at La Cantera.
Dietz Tractors presents ESPN San Antonio's Big Game Coverage. Brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds and Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds.
It is the Blitz here on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, on the go at ESPNSA.com. You know, something's going on right now up in Austin that has never happened before. A top 10 matchup in basketball between Baylor and Texas. Shaka Smart returns from what we hear was a significant battle with COVID-19. He must have gotten really ill. They returned several other players, down 41-34 to Baylor. And Jared Butler and the likes of what's going on there. And as we were talking about it, it's worth mentioning Andrew Jones with the University of Texas, all the fight and all that he has done to come back and get themselves into it. In Texas, you know, a year ago, we were marking Shaka Smart for dead, that this was it for him. He'd made his run, and the powers that be, whether by hamstring and the contract that they could not eliminate, were forced to keep Shaka around. And as we sit there, number 6 team in the country, and going to be probably a 2 or a 3 seed when the tournament finally begins.
Well, and it's crazy to start thinking, you know, but it's Super Bowl week. You got to start thinking about March Madness and the tournament and the bubble tournament in Indianapolis. And, you know, that's going to be a lot of fun. So, yeah, I mean, it is here. And I mean, Baylor, I mean, as good as I've watched a bunch of Texas games, and I thought they were pretty good. Watching Baylor tonight, that's a basketball team. They last night against OU, whew.
We've harped on it once before, and I'll
state.
say it again. Texas, we a basketball state, baby. You saw what Texas Tech did the other night. Hey, we want to thank everybody for stopping by Dietz Tractor's Big Game Coverage today. Hall of Famers to be had, great voices in the sport, interesting Zebra Technology type numbers discussions that really blow my mind, quite frankly. When you get into that analytics side of stuff, if you listen to the little bit of numbers, you can see why those analytic types lose their mind when somebody goes for it or doesn't go for it on 4th down, because there's so many numbers that kind of tell you the truth.
I mean, and look, you take all that information, because if you're going to lay some money, you want to have the best info. Tomorrow on the show, it continues. Mark Schlereth, Jeff Fisher, Mike Golick on ESPN Radio, senior. He's going to be on tomorrow about 5:30.
Jeff Fisher might even have a brand new job by the time we talk with him. He was up for Tennessee, maybe one of the Dakotas. Yeah, your Dietz Tractor Big Game Coverage will continue tomorrow. Y'all be safe. We'll talk about it then.
This is the only time you've wanted to wake up with a hangover.